Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? It is Tuesday night. You know what that means? It's a brand new hockey happy hour coming at you live right now. Tonight, we got a lot on tap. We're going to talk about the West Coast woes. We're going to talk Flyers and Oilers live reactions. We got more trade stuff to talk about, more rumors going down. There might be a trade report tonight. We'll see how that goes. Got a lot to talk about. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Tell your friends to do the same damn thing. Let's go. Time to talk some puck.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! You're flying!
Oh, come in. It's almost time.
Ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live on A2D Radio. I am Matt Sinsuti, along with the Darkwing Brian Daly.
What up? What up?
And the broken one himself, Rob Povia.
This is my own private domicile, and I will not be harassed. Bitch.
Oh my.
I'm rewatching Breaking Bad right now, so I had to give my favorite quote from Jesse Pinkman. There you go.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we welcome to the Hockey Happy Hour. Once again, brought to you by, as always, Paul Vidal over at Specialized there. If you got any ache pains going on, you got a stinger in your shoulder, or maybe you got one that's funny, and ever since then it's just been causing you nothing problems. Whatever the case is, make an appointment with the doc. You go to www. Check out the team over in Cherry Hill or Burlington, New Jersey, and they'll take care of you. You won't have to go see again after he has an opportunity to work on you. So, with that being said, Dr. Paul Vidal, we move on to our poll question, which is brought to you by Baggio's Bread. If you've got any celebrations coming up, Valentine's Day has come and gone, though. They have a day popping up, possibly. Or, however, maybe St. Patrick's Day. That'll be here before you know it. We'll get into the month of March. Have a little Baggio's Bread and get yourself in order. And let them know A2D, 10% off of your in-store purchases as well. Best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs. It's definitely worth it down in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. So go take a look. All right, then. Our poll question for tonight, ladies and gents, is the Flyers West Coast trip has been concerning. Agree or disagree? It's time for you guys to throw out your best shot on this one. How do you feel? Do you feel like the Flyers feel like there's something to be worried about? Or as the season goes for the Flyers in this most recent West Coast trip. Take it away, gentlemen.
I see what you did there. Take your shot. I see what you did there, Mr. Sinsuti. Welcome back, by the way. I'm glad you're feeling better, brother.
Ditto.
Thank you. Between school and being sick, it seemed like I was to the show.
For sure. In regard to the poll, I'm going to agree. I mean, to a degree. Yes, it's been concerning. The boys are lagging. I'm not seeing the hunger and the compete as strong as we did earlier in the season. But, I mean, it's understandable. It's the second West Coast trip of the season. The season already is a grind. 82 games of high-speed hockey action. And this group is what it is. So you knew that strain of the season was going to eventually take its toll. And we're seeing it a little bit on this West Coast trip. It exposes a lot of teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, me personally, I'm not concerned because going into the season, we knew kind of what to expect. You know, Torts even said it. I've said it. I'm pretty sure, Robbie, at some point you said it. This season's not about wins and losses. It's just not. You know, it's about development. It's about getting guys to play with effort, playing the game the right way. And you know, the first two games of this road trip were atrocious. You didn't saw no effort from the guys in either game. The Vancouver game, you saw it a little bit in the first half of the game, and then Vancouver just turned it on, and Philly just couldn't keep up. They just got flat out spanked by Seattle. By Seattle in the first game of the road trip. Flyers traditionally are not good playing on the West Coast. I mean, they gave you a little bit of hope early in the year in the first West Coast trip, where I believe they swept it 3-0. So great for them there. Gave you a little something to hope for, but I think the All-Star break came at a bad time, and the Flyers just need to find a groove again. I think they'll be fine. I'm not concerned one bit. I disagree with the poll for those reasons.
Right. And like I said, I mean, going out on the West Coast will, take its toll. Hopefully we'll see that rebound and that hunger and compete come back. But the play has been like, giving me the nightmares, giving me the shivers like I got last season.
I'm going to go ahead and say disagree. I don't think it's concerning, only because this is how the Flyers have been. They've some really good potential out of the youth, and some of the veterans pull out a nice, strong game. For the most part, it's been a lot of growing pains, and it's been a lot of play. It's one of those examples of this is where the team is at. This team has an issue of consistency, and it's no shocker that they had a problem going out there. On top of that as well, take a look at what the fan is saying. And hi, Priz. And Rosca throwing out the what's up, boys? Let's go Flyers. Urson 6-0-0 with the guys. This was swoopy here. I've been predicting JVR will be an Oiler for a few months. He did beat them in a shootout weeks ago. Would be a very Oilers move. Guy who beats you in the shootout, next thing you know, it's like, oh, he's the next Oiler. He's going to take him. We've been trying to get rid of him for months, years, actually. Larry Aquilino saying time to trade Hart. It's time to trade Hart. I feel like, Urson's 6-0-0, but you know what? I'm not buying it. It's one of those things of, got the shit kicked out of them by Seattle again and by Vancouver. Flyers had to play big and again to be Earson who benefited from it. It's really just a coincidence he was in net that night, at least in my opinion, because they would have been with.
Yeah, not just that. The thing you have to remember is Earson hasn't really faced a test yet, in my opinion. I mean, I know he faced Calgary yesterday, and it was a big game,
right?
And he looked good. I'm not going to sit here and blast Earson. He is 6-0. He's looked really, really good. But to sit here and say you want to trade Hart for a goalie who hasn't really proved himself in the NHL yet is just flat out ridiculous. It's just flat out ridiculous. I've been seeing, and I posted this in Flyers Nation earlier. They showed him with a bunch of other goaltenders who started off their careers 6-0. There was a couple good names on that list. But here's the thing. Ken Dryden was on that list, and he was the only goaltender on that list that had a legit NHL career. The rest of those guys on that list had either average careers or they didn't last more than 5 years in the NHL. You know who was on that list? Victor Fost. Lasted maybe 5 years with Anaheim. Frederick Anderson. Average career. I'm trying to think of who else was on the list. I'm blanking on a bunch of them, but Dan Ellis. Like, what happened to Dan Ellis after he left at Nashville and Dallas? Nobody, like, I'm all for everybody being excited for him, and I'm excited for myself, but again, let's please pump the brakes on this kid. Let's not overhype the kid to the point where once he faces some adversity, the fan base is going to act like the sky's fucking falling, like they always do. The thing I hate about this fan base is how knee-jerk they are. It's always knee-jerk, 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 and then something bad happens and the sky's falling.
Right.
Hart and Urson can be a really, really good tandem for this team moving forward. There's no need to trade Hart. One is 24, one is 23. To have a goaltending tandem that is that close in age could be a very, very good thing. And let them battle it out. See who becomes the starter. The other one becomes the backup. You play them 42 games apiece. And then you have a really good goaltending tandem here. Defense improves after this year. You go out and you get a couple guys. There's going to be some good names out there. You're in the playoffs again sooner than you think. Instead of sitting here trying to pick one. Pittsburgh won with a goaltending tandem. They won 2 Stanley Cups with a goaltending tandem. A good one at the time. Used to say Flyers can't do the same thing. Don't force one out. You have 2 options here. You don't need to rely on just one. That's all I got to say about that.
No, it's true. I mean, anytime a guy shows up on a list with Martin Jones, doesn't exactly give you that warm feeling. I got to see more. You got to see more to see what you have. And then if he, does continue to outplay Hart, as much as he's my boy and I'm wearing his jersey right now, right? Ultimately, the best guy's got to win the job, right? I do agree with you, Brian, that you can exist with a goaltending tandem. I don't know if you have to have a 50-50, you know what I mean? But I think they could work well in conjunction. I don't think that little minute disagreement takes away from anything that you just said.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be 50-50. It doesn't. Make it right. Just however Torts needs to spread the wealth. It doesn't matter. This team can be successful with 2 goaltenders. We've seen it done. It's becoming a league where it is a tandem. Like, yeah, are most of the teams that are winning right now have a featured goalie? Yeah. It's just how it is. But the league is slowly turning into a tandem league, tandem goalie league. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have 2 good goaltenders.
One other thing, too, I want to bring up as well is that, the Flyers rolling with 2 goaltenders. Say you decided for the hell of it, okay, let's try Yersin at being full-time starter. Guaranteed he's absolutely lit up. It happens to goaltenders when you go through the full 82. Hart's the starter. Yersin is a back. Yersin is 6-0-0, like you were saying, Brian, when he hasn't faced the test yet, and Hart is facing every good team that the Flyers have, most of them division rivals. So at the end of the day, every goaltender is going to get those blemishes, and they're going to have rough nights when you're facing the top teams either in your division or in the league, and you're the full-time starter of goaltenders. So if you threw Yersin in here on a full 82, I guarantee you he would have similar number because Hart's actually quietly having a pretty solid season. So at the end of the day, I would say he may not. He may. With that, move on to Swoopy's. I was just going to say he might even do worse than Hart if you get Hart's having quietly a pretty solid season. Maybe he'd do worse. Maybe he'd do just as well. You don't really know at the end of the day.
I'm not saying don't play Urson. I'm just saying let's just pump the brakes on overhyping this kid and making him out to be the next, I don't know, Patrick Waugh. Like that's what it sounds like most of the fans are trying to say. It just it's I mean, both goalies still have so much left in their tank. Andrei Vasilevsky didn't turn a corner until he was 26 years old.
Yeah.
And now look at the kid. I'm saying kid.
Right.
Now look at him. He's the best goaltender in
He's
the world.
considered.
And it didn't happen until he was 26 years old. Time is what they need. Maybe they pulled Hart up a little early, possibly. That's a possibility. They pulled him up a little too early in his development. But he's only 24.
Well, they were desperate at
Let's
the
not
time,
chase the kid
so
out. I'm just saying, let's not chase anybody out of town when there's a very good possibility of something really good here. It could be worse. It could be Anaheim. Its goaltenders are getting smoked every night.
Right.
They're getting smoked right now.
Concern as far as their energy, they let up quickly. It seemed to not be in it as much as they should be. The hunger and compete level and all around up tempo is a season is about wins and losses. We got a team great talent, but when that the energy and effort should still be there, especially under Torts, and it's not. I think a lot of the West Coast think definitely their energy. While that should not be an excuse, and that does not give you a pass for playing poor today, that does happen a lot. A lot of teams go through that West Coast swing, and they don't always handle it very well. Teams coming to the East very well. But on top of that, you're also still – it's only been a few days since the All-Star break. You're still getting that whole week off where that momentum got killed for the Flyers, and they were winning games into the All-Star break, which is very normal for the Flyers at this point. But putting all that into that situation there, it was a number of factors that looked like it was going to be a disaster waiting to happen. And plus, you took a tough loss to Seattle right before the break happened. And going.
Truth be told.
Moving on to Priz's comment here. Development and having a defense that the players that are brought up or signed come into, and it's melding into the system instead of forcing a player to fit, which definitely you don't want that. You don't want forcing. You definitely want it to be accepted, and gradually you get a player to develop up into that. By the way, what's going on, brother?
What up, Don? Yeah, I just got some reports in, boys. I'll rattle off real quick before we get to game time. Speaking of the goaltending situation, Carter Hart is confirmed in net tonight. He'll be facing Stuart Skinner of the Edmonton Oilers. In regard to the lines, Travis Konecny suffered an upper body injury in the last game against Calgary, so he's out for the game tonight. The top line, according to pregame warmups, looks like it's going to be Noah Cates with Lawton and Allison on the wings, Morgan Frost with JBR and Tippett, Hayes with Lixell and Farabee, Brown with Delorier and Bellows is activated for this game in TK's place. Defense, Provorov and Sanheim, York, Risto, Sealer, and D'Angelo.
Yeah, not much differences
All right,
minus
then.
TK.
Well, sucks too when he's having a good year and then he always have. Let's see here. Swoopy saying Torts did say he still hadn't made the team become the stop he wants to rush or overwhelm. That's still no excuse to not compete and play all around energy and up tempo hockey. That's ridiculous. No, you're correct. You can't make excuses for poor play. But still at the same time, it's definitely something that one overall player. Swoopy also saying exactly to you, Bry, saying in regards to trading Hart, stupid. Let's see. Priz saying, what's wrong with having two goalies so long as they're still affordable? Oh, that's a good possibility because when you live in the cap era, it's very important.
I mean, eventually, if you got to pay one of them
saying
gets
also,
to be at that. that standout goaltender and you got to pay him, then that might be a consideration to move one of the goaltenders to get some pieces before you lose him as an unrestricted free agent. Not now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only way. What Robbie just said here is the only way I would even consider trading one of them is when that time comes.
Let's see here. He goes on to say, I said 3 years ago it was time to trade Coots. 2 years and now, kids, it's about trading at the right time.
Yeah, but if you trade away all your talent, what are you going to have left?
Do need to develop trade. Right.
You're stuck in this mediocre shit that you're in now.
I don't know where that philosophy is coming from. Well, I know exactly where that philosophy is. The normal Philadelphia reaction, knee-jerk reaction, panic, player suck, stretch, get rid of him. He's not good enough. He needs to be perfect every single, guys, it's not going to be perfect every fucking night. And trust me, we'll get to that point that's killing it right now, and he'll get his ass lit the fuck up because the Flyers defense will leave him on an island, which apparently they have a habit of doing. And let's see. Super saying, bingo, that's why I hate from Philly. I'm a diehard Philly sports fan, but not like most.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be positive.
Don. I mean, Hard sucks to send him to Detroit.
Real quick, Matty, I want to jump back to that comment about Couturier. It's tough because you signed him to such a big contract, and this is also coming after he's had two of the best career years that he had. Unfortunately, you can't predict injuries. You can't predict that he was going to go through what he's going through right now, which sucks. It does suck because the Flyers need his two-way play. They need his 30 goals. But it's you can't just be like, oh, I said trade this guy away 3 years, this, that, and the other. Trade this guy, trade this guy. If you trade away all your talent, what are you going to be left with? You're going to be left with nothing. And you think that it's bad now? Imagine if you traded those guys then. Imagine how much worse this team would be right now. That's all I'm saying.
The other thing too is it's like, there was a period where Coots was going through his growing pains period of his time in the Flyers. And there was a few years there where he did really struggle. But then Hackstall came along, and ironically enough, you bring in a college coach working with a young guy who's college age like Couturier. All of a sudden, he blossomed into the player that we knew he could be. And now it's like, imagine that. A goaltender who can develop young players. Maybe that's something to do with why he was so successful moving forward.
And that's why he's being successful in Seattle. And that's why Torts has success, too, with some of these younger guys. I would love to see Coots with Torts. I can't wait to see it next year. Hopefully he gets back in time for training. I say scrap of bringing him back this year. Just let him get healthy, bring him back next year. With Coots, you're missing 30 goals a year. You're missing a top 3 two-way player, one of the best face-off guys in the league, and he's a shutdown center. So you're missing that. You trade that away. There's a lot of fans that think you're in a 5-year window where it's just going to be rebuilding from here. You trade away a guy like Coots, you're looking at 7, 8, 9 years. Because he's not just that good, he's that young, and he's that important to this roster. Mainly because if you trade him away, you just have a team of young kids. I'm okay with trading away guys like JVR. I'm okay with trading away Kevin Hayes, although I think it's a little too soon to trade Kevin Hayes away. But if that happens, I'm okay with it. You trade away a guy like Coots, you have no veteran leadership left on this roster. You have none. You need these guys. These guys are just as important. You can get away with sending some guys away. But a guy that a lot of people could consider his, the next captain of the Flyers, you don't trade that away. You don't. I don't care. Like, I don't care what you get back. You don't trade him away. That's leadership. You need leadership in the locker room. That's a guy that provides it on and off the ice. And like I said, the last 2 years, he finished in the top 3 in the Selke, which is the trophy given away to the best two-way player in the game. And obviously, Patrice Bergeron won that because he's the best. He's the best two-way player in hockey. Coots is a top 3 guy. You need him back. You need him on this roster. You don't trade him yet.
Because of his injuries. That's what's been really killing it. But saying here, still a lot of it is what's in front of the goalie, not just the defenders, but the forwards too. The overall team defense, that is. Yes, goalies deserve blame, but not as much as people are making it. And I agree, not everything is the goalie's fault. Yes, there are. See a bad go in and you're like, yep, should have had that one. That's a softie right there. But there's plenty of times where the hell is the defense? Hart, Earson, or Sandstrom, or whoever the hell's in the back of the – they're the goalie. They're not a D-man. Just click front of them. You didn't do shit. Can't do it all by himself.
Saying Hart,
but Larry,
he's got a 288 goals against. Are you serious?
Yeah, I know. He's
get out of here with that average.
There's a lot of people who are definitely not sold on Hart. It's players fandom, and it's a shame. But Larry, all the same, even though we disagree with your opinion on Hart, thank you. We throwing out, so feel free to keep on doing that for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Larry. We appreciate the comments, man. This is what we're here for. We're all about talking hockey.
Fuck it, Prez.
Oh.
We're roughing about. Send Hart to shape. Oh, that's funny. So let's see here. And hey, we got Greg. What's up, Greg? What's going on, brother?
What's up, Greggy?
So I said Greg also poll, although did hit the 06 goals yesterday. Giddy up.
Yeah.
And Benny's Nation saying, "What's up, boys? What's up, Benny?" John Johnson saying, "Funny how many people said Earson being sent down was good, and he came back and gave us a win during another losing streak. And I said we needed him, period. I believe I was right. I'm not against Earson being up here. And I think that if he can be up here and he can be a solid number 2, yeah, sure. High for the moment, sure. That's fine. Yeah, I'm not against it.
Hey, listen, I'm all for it. Like I said when Earson came out of nowhere, I'm all for the tandem. Get the tandem going. That's what it's all about. Figuring out ways to win. Putting yourself in position to win. If you can do it with Hart and Earson, fucking A, let's go.
And let's see here. And by the way, John, thanks for commenting in. Feel free to keep on doing that. Larry said he's been a fan for 46 years. Well, I understand, man. It's been a rough go. Sad blue Stanley Cup. But hey, man, dedication. We love it.
Yeah, you gotta take the good with the bad.
Let's see here. Yeah. I'm nervous. I couldn't imagine why. Don I would be nervous. Let's see here. Pete saying, yo, fam. What's up, Pete?
Pete, my friend.
PD, what's up, brother?
Let's see. Swoopy saying, I said the same signing him. I always thought he was too slow as a player. I love his overall two-way play, but he's way too slow. I wanted it not because of these. Interesting.
Yeah, I just wrote back to him. He does look like he's skating in cement sometimes, kind of caveman Neanderthal style, but he's effective. And when he's on his game, he's taking away the other team's best player, and that's worth its weight as gold, even if he's not showing up on the score sheet.
Absolutely. Great point, Rob.
Right. Larry's saying they could not win a playoff series with him. He was on a $3.5 million contract. The rebuild would have. What do you mean with Hart or Coots? Because they won a playoff series with Hart against Montreal.
I think he's talking about with Coots.
And then Coots has been here for several years where they won. Coots, okay. Coots was with he was actually a pretty decent contributor against the Penguins in 2012. Games, and he was there for the victory against Montreal. So Coots has been here for victories in the playoff. I mean, has he always been a leader on the playoffs? Well, one was when he was a rookie. That was against the Penguins. So he was still just getting. And I don't know. I didn't think he was bad against Montreal. I mean, personally, I didn't think he was. Swoop saying, I love the style of players Coots are, but not ones who are slow.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta at some point, Swoopy, you gotta get over the speed thing, man. He's a good skater. Yeah, is he the fastest? No, but like Rob said, he's effective. He's effective. He takes the best player out of pretty much every team, which makes him one of the best two-way players in the game. You don't have to be fast for that. You just have to be effective. Speed isn't everything, my friend. Speed isn't everything. Not in this game.
Larry's saying you can't trade him now with that contract. Any team would want to take that deal. Plus, also, we're not trying to trade him off. Taylor Smith said Carter is not average. He just needs a team built around him. I agree with that. That opinion, I do agree with. Remember, I haven't gotten anywhere close to 50 yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's having a rough season, as some people would like to put it. He still has a goals against under 3 and a save percentage over 9. A 9.10 is above league average.
Right.
I don't understand what people aren't seeing. They just, I'm just going to stop there.
Well, let's see here. Prism saying Bowman suck. A little bit of the sour grapes on that one for Bowman. But then again, really shouldn't be all that much since the Blackhawks went on a night. Let's see here. If anything, but I feel like we as a fan base have been less on our goaltending as we have in years past. As in maybe. I mean, that's a good thing because unfortunately the Flyers had a habit of jumping on goaltenders way too much. Plus all too. I develop a goaltender when you just go trade for one. Yeah. See where that got you fucking nowhere. Anyway.
I mean, developing them has gotten them nowhere either. But you know what? I'd rather see a homegrown goaltender than a guy that, like a lot of the goaltenders that I've seen growing up. Jeff Hackett at the end of his career, John Van Beesbrook at the end of his career. Like, Come on, I'll take Carter Hart all day, every day, and twice on Sundays.
God damn, he's fast. Whew.
Right.
McDavid.
It's funny that he didn't want to do the speed competition at the All-Star game.
That doesn't sound good at all.
He's not even just fast. He is so good and smooth with the puck. His hands are silk. Hart looking good early. And it's only been a couple shots, but it looks like he's squaring up pretty good.
And Taylor saying, can the Flyers build around Hart? Yeah, just they have to be smart with the cap, and they have to be good with developing the players. And they got to be patient on top of that as well. That's the toughest thing to be as a fan, is to be patient. You want your team to be great, like, all the time, and you want it to be great right now. Unfortunately, sometimes you got to look at it. It's like, we're going to have a shit year. It's just how it's going to be. Or we're going to have a very mediocre year. We're not there yet. Simple as that. And there's other times where, okay, yeah.
I was going to say real quick, building off of what you just said, I think the most important thing there is player development there, Matty. That's the most important part, and mixing in the right veterans with this group.
Right. And also careful with the cap, because that's another important thing, because you don't want to hurt yourself moving forward, which I think is the main reason why they're even thinking about getting rid of Hayes, just because of the contract. I don't think it's his play. I think that's the problem, which I get, because it is a lot. I do want to see some of the younger players when the time comes for their contracts. I get that. Let's see here. 9% Coots, although I absolutely love his style of play and type of player he is, I just don't want one who is slow. They don't put a faster, I believe. I make speed and all-around great skating a requirement in place. To do, though. And Taylor responding to you, Rob. Hopefully Farabee, Frost, Tippett continue to develop. I think they're great players to build around, all pretty young. Yes, I agree with that.
Yep. And the one thing to keep in mind with Farabee, I know he's having a rough year.
Let's see here.
He's 22 years old, so let's keep that in mind. He still has to develop a little bit. He's still coming off a major neck injury.
Right.
That neck surgery, I think he did the same neck surgery that Jack Eichel did. So give him a little bit of time. Just give him a little bit of time. Frost and Tippett are coming around. They're starting to come around.
Right. Pris saying that boys have to bring out the new Fion show. Love you. Keep kicking. Thanks, Pris. You get some sleep, brother. Let's see here. Oh, another one for you, Rob. But thank God Hart is as young as he is. Still, it will take a while to really be contenders. But I see some better big contracts will be getting in the way in the future. Or do you see contracts getting in the way in the future?
Yeah, me and Taylor have been having a nice conversation.
You see certain veteran come. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, in case you're wondering about all the ads, we're having a conversation about, who do you build this team around, who do you try to move, what veteran contracts are in the way, so on and so forth. And I was telling him that, it's starting to get brighter in that avenue. You know what I mean? Maybe you still have the Hazy deal that could qualify as that. I don't throw the Coots deal into that category because at 30 years of age, I think he's still a piece that, It's what we've been talking about. You can still build around this team. Cam Atkinson has 2 more years at about $5.5 million a year. So that's sort of in that limbo. But if he can get healthy, I still believe in Cam Atkinson being a piece that you can not build around, but build with, and especially with his experience with John Tortorella.
Well said, Robbie.
Right. And as we move forward here, Benny's saying we miss his ability in the face-off circle too. Let's see. And that was a correction from earlier. Larry saying one day the Flyers will get speed and skill. It's been 10 years. Might be a little longer than that, to be honest with you.
They have some now. It's just not a ton.
Right. Benny's saying O'Reilly not wasting time in Toronto. No, he's not.
2 goals tonight in the Buffalo. 37 seconds apart, too.
To be honest, I think he shouldn't be wasting time in Toronto. Nobody on that team should be wasting time because, the more and more they keep failing, the more and more I think Austin Matthews and the rest of what's the point? Like, why are we even here? Let's go somewhere else.
Well, what's crazy is, Robbie, we were talking about this last week. Yep, and Robbie, we were talking about this last week a little bit. How do you get Patrick Kane to the New York Rangers? We were talking about that with Brad. They kind of did a similar thing with this deal to get Ryan O'Reilly to Toronto. Toronto's only paying $1.850 of his salary. They managed to get St. Louis to take some of it, and they managed to take Minnesota to take some of it. So now instead of paying the full, I think he's like eight and change. S. Farabee just took a stick up high.
Yeah, he did.
Now that they get the 1.8, which, and I know we'll talk about this a little bit more later on down the road when we get to the shootout, but to me, that takes the Leafs out of the running for Patrick Kane. The trade that the Rangers made takes them out of the running for Patrick Kane. So, it's crazy. It's crazy to see Toronto pull off a move like that and see Ryan O'Reilly just jump in and do what he does. That's what makes Ryan O'Reilly so good.
Well, just so you know, Brian, I rethought my stance on that particular player in the shootout that will be predicting their trade destination, and I found a team that could probably even take on some more of his salary for Chicago.
Now you piqued my interest. All right, so we're going to the shootout now. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Interesting. Here and then Taylor, this last comment here saying, "Who do you see us drafting first round realistically?" Definitely not Bedard. Oh, that's such a shame. Now I made myself sad again. Anyway,
Brandon Yeager.
Yeah, was it so wrong?
Brandon Yeager is going to be a solid center.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him in a couple mock drafts being picked up by the Flyers.
I've seen that as well, right? Depends on where they finish. You know what I mean? Because like saying, as long as you're a team that misses the playoffs, you got a shot. Look at the Rangers when they got Lafreniere. Look at the Penguins twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Larry, you might not have to wait that long.
Yeah, Larry's.
They're saying he's NHL ready now.
He's saying he's looking for a cutter.
You just got to find his. He's got to find his. He's just got to get his contract signed.
Okay, they'll get it. And Taylor saying, "I'd be fine with Yeager. Luckily, this draft is strong, which is
right.
Mm-hmm. This year, so that's good news." So, if you really wanted to be bad in a year, you could have picked worse.
Yeah, right. Oh, truth. I mean, if a Colby Barlow slips to you, I still like that. Zach Benson too. I mean, I don't think he'll come out of the top 5, but he's got center, left wing, experience. So I like that versatility.
Oh yeah, Flyers need a solid left winger too. They got a couple of good ones, but they need a top talent, like a top 6 left wing style player too. And if he develops into what they think he could be a very good fit for the Flyers as well.
And Colby's already 6'1", 194.
So he doesn't have much
going
growth
over
left.
2.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
he doesn't have to grow that much.
Right.
Flyers unable
Halfway
to
through
do
the
the
first,
first.
Let's
man.
see here. Oh, nothing.
It slipped through. Noah Cates. Nice.
All right, so I still got about another hour till I get caught up.
Sorry, I'm bad at holding in my excitement.
It's all right. Matty does the same thing.
Nice wraparound too. Power fucking move right there. Gets it through the 5-hole. I'm excited to see what Noah Cates can become.
Yeah, and he was a later draft pick, wasn't he? 4th round pick, I believe, 5th round pick, something like that.
Was he? Wow.
He's showing a lot this year, and you know what? I like his style of play. I like his blue collar ability, and his willingness to basically do what he just did there, and just if he has a shot to take it, and it's paying off for him.
5th rounder.
Filling in nicely. Take the fastest skater in the group, obviously, for the draft. And Taylor saying, when will Gauthier play? Again, contract, like Bryce said earlier.
Yeah, he hasn't even signed his entry-level deal because he played in college.
You can see maybe towards, as we creep towards March, maybe that gets done. And he gets in a couple games, kind of like Noah Cates did last season.
Mm-hmm. I mean, JVR did it when he got drafted. He didn't sign his contract until after season and a half playing up at University of New Hampshire.
It's true.
He just came right up to the NHL too. He didn't. A lot of players see the collegiate leagues as developmental leagues now, and a lot of them are coming straight up from college. Jamie Drysdale. Cam York. I mean, Cam York is up and down with the AHL, but he's basically been NHL ready. But players are doing that now more than, obviously the older ones are playing college, but the 18, 19-year-olds are probably going back to juniors. But it's a lot of college play now and jumping right into the NHL. It's a developmental league now. For the guys that have been drafted anyway.
Right. Very rarely did you wind up in the NHL. There was a time period like that. So,
a quick question, boys.
Talking about
Maddie.
In the first period, yes.
The jerseys that Edmonton's wearing tonight, are those throwbacks or the retros? Or is that part of their normal scheduled jerseys? Because whatever it is, I always like this Edmonton Oilers jersey.
I thought it was their regular, to be honest with you. The blue.
It is.
It is? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because remember a couple years ago they had the orange one, and then they switched over. Like this year or last year, they switched back to the blue instead of doing the orange.
I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, I always thought. I'm glad they did. I was always a fan of that. I mean, it reminds me of the Gretzky era. Which we had a conversation earlier today, Brian, about Gretzky. How he was almost a Detroit Red Wing.
Yes, he was almost a Detroit Red Wing.
And Philly was in the conversation too when Edmonton was looking to move him. It was what? LA, Detroit, Philly, and was it New York? Was that before?
No, it was I forget. But the crazy thing is he was about to be he was going to be and accept a trade to Detroit because he wanted to be the next Gordie Howe. And his dad said, "Don't be the next Gordie Howe. They've already had Gordie Howe." And his dad basically persuaded him to go to LA. It was insane.
I think best thing that could happen for him, man, really Americanized his brand. Going to LA. I mean, like in that era, Party Central. He probably met his wife there, more than likely.
Probably.
The thing too is that at the end of the day, we behind teams like Arizona. We had teams like that because of Gretzky being in LA. You wouldn't have had the opportunity to have teams move down to southern markets or to have expansion in southern markets if it wasn't for Gretzky being in LA. And that was a very big deal for him to be in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Imagine how much different things would be if he wound up in Detroit. It's crazy to think about.
I think
Wayne
they'll
Gretzky?
expand it further south. They probably correction. They expanded further south, but they would have been very picky, very, very picky about it.
Oh man, imagine if you wound up in Philly.
Let's see. By the way, Taylor's signing off for the night.
Appreciate you,
Take it
Taylor.
easy,
Hit that
Taylor.
like, hit that subscribe, brother. Let's go.
If he was in Philly, oh my. Would have been. I'll be honest with you though. I'll be honest with you though. I don't know how. Is it weird though? I think Gretzky would have only done what he did with the Blues. He would have only been here a year. Because honestly, I think he would have done well with Mike Keenan. And I've got wrong at all.
Or if he would have came here, he would have flipped the script. He would have did the reverse Hossa, where he wins the cup with Edmonton and then comes to Philly and wins the cup with Philly.
That would have been nice. Would have been great.
Interesting.
And yes, Chris. 1-0 Flyers. Kate's with the goal. Saying, what is that? If a miracle happened and we won the lottery, we would have a bright future. Even when the Flyers won the lottery, we picked Nolan Patrick. So are you 100% positive on that?
Philadelphia deserves the Flyers to win the NHL lottery. They lost the MLS final with the Union. Phillies lose the World Series, and now the Eagles lose the Super Bowl. Give the Flyers the #1 pick. Go now. Do it.
I'm gonna ask this seriously, and what would happen if the Sixers got to the finals and lost this year?
Oh,
this city would just absolutely implode.
For some men just want to see the world burn.
I don't know if the city could take another one. Apparently, Bry is one of them. Because, like I said, I don't know if the city can take it. And let's see. Dylan saying,
What's up, Jackie?
What's going on, Phil? Hope all is well. Disagree to the poll. Flyers are playing well. Made Markstrom look like a fresh plate of Swiss cheese. And
did you go to that game?
Yeah, what's up, Dak? He's saying Oilers fan here. That's a good question. Dak, Oilers fan here. This team is having a rough time, man.
I don't think he went. I think that game was in Calgary. He just went to Buffalo not that long ago.
Oh, that's right. They're on the West Coast. Fuck.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes, he went to the game in Philly.
That's right.
Yeah, Dacky, your boys are not looking very
good
right now. Defense looks atrocious in the last 3 games.
Yeah, we'll give it time. We'll see how long that lasts. Remember, the Flyers have a habit of making bad teams look good.
Well,
immediately
also
jump to that conclusion.
It's never for me with Edmonton. It's never been a question of offense. The offense is there. The offense is deep. They know how to they know how to put points in the goal. But here's the thing: they've never figured out the defensive side. Jack Campbell in his last 3 games has given up at least 4 goals.
Wow. freaking they just showed a stat in the game that the Oilers haven't had a shot since 4:58 into the first. Great defensive effort right so far by the Flyers.
Mm-hmm. That's good because they need
Let's
to be
not
able to
say
shut
too
this
much
thing
about it. We don't want to jinx it. But I mean, for the Oilers, yeah, between the issue defensively, goaltending has been the big problem as well. It's been like Jesus, man. Like, but I feel like the Oilers did it to themselves. Contract to McDavid and Draisaitl. You're gonna pay a ton of money to those guys, but at the same time, it's like, whew, you really hurt yourself in the long run. It's like, what are you gonna do in order to get like some top of the line demon goaltender? Koskinen didn't pan out. So,
I mean, what are you gonna do? Not sign
an
those
ongoing
two
issue with
deals?
the Oilers.
What are you not going to pay those two? You just
No,
gonna
no.
let them walk when their contract?
I get that.
I'm
I'm
not
not
like those two up.
No. Of course, I get that. It's just that's the situation. It's like crap. The problem is that you do cap, but at the same time, it's like, well, what are you going to do? They're demanding it. Are you really going to have to? Are GM that let McDavid and Draisaitl walk? Of course not. So it's like, shit, you're going to have to just bite the bullet and do it. But now you see the problem with that. It's not like back in the day where you get away with it and say, like, yeah, I don't plenty to play around with, like, unfortunately with the cap, it's like crap. You give them that kind of money, it's like, oh boy, now
fuck all that, dude.
we got to
Those
figure
are generational players.
You got any like miracle workers here? Because I don't know.
Fuck that, bro. That shit goes out the window when you have McDavid and Draisaitl. That shit goes out the fucking window. Bro, you lock those two up for as much as they want.
I'm not saying don't resign them.
Sorry.
No, I get it. I get it.
But it's the problem with the defense is not that they signed McDavid and Draisaitl to those contracts. They're not drafting well enough. You draft guys like Darnell Nurse, that's their best defender, and he's trash. And if you want to talk about a bad contract, they gave Darnell Nurse a bad contract. That was a contract I would have never given him because he's so overrated. So overrated.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
They can fix it.
I agree.
They can fix
and,
it here. They can
Ethan Bear didn't work out either.
One of the
top
defensemen in the league.
Ethan Bear was it Anthony Bear? I forget the guy's name, but he was supposed to be a big prospect for him, and he didn't pan. Okay.
He panned out in Carolina.
Meanwhile, the Oilers are in on Carlson and Kane. Yeah. The defense isn't getting any better, I fear. Yeah. I mean, hey, maybe you'll get lucky, though. Maybe you'll draw Dylan's Flames.
If they get Carlson, they'll be all right. He's back to playing.
Dylan Lecky kind of go at it. So you got the Flames and an Oilers fan.
Nice.
I'm trying to light that fuse. Yeah, trying to light that fuse. So, gentlemen, while we have an opportunity to talk, let's talk about the West Coast trip that we had for the Flyers. So the Flyers, unfortunately, didn't have the best go around. They lost 4-3 to the Kraken. Then the All-Star break comes rolling around. Then they proceed to lose 6-2 to the Kraken. At one point, they were just getting their asses whooped in Seattle. Then after that, they got whooped again in Vancouver 6-2, which it's like, damn, you made Vancouver actually have a moment of pride there. And then a big gut check win against Calgary. But and like I said before, I'm not 100% surprised that this happened with the way that this panned out. West Coast trips have never been fun. And unfortunately, well, more Western Canada trip, but still at the same time, not fun. was not fun for the Flyers this go around. I mean, they did okay when they California teams, but not so much when they went up north. Thought Canada was supposed to be friendly. I guess we were wrong.
Right. Well, I will say this though. I mean that the play of Anthony Bolivier has shown that both sides of that trade are working out all right.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel
He
bad
looked
for the
pretty good.
Islanders too.
Right.
As soon as they get Horvat, they finally get Barzal somebody to play with. You know what happens? Barzal goes down with an upper body injury, and he's out indefinitely.
Yeah. Don't it just break your heart?
Oh, mind shattered. Oh, I'm crying right now. I'm just kidding.
Let's see here. Dylan saying we're both down. How long we can get God mode Huberto?
He's been struggling a little bit since going to Calgary, especially lately. He's not the same player. I think Darryl Sutter has a lot to do with that, though, too. I think once they get rid of him and they get another coach in there, I think Huberto can get back to being who he was.
Right. So, Gents, anything you want or Western before we change gears to the second period?
Well, just like we said in response to the poll question that you saw, the energy wean, and we saw it come back last game against the Flames. Unfortunately, Konecny gets a cheap shot in the back, and now he's out indefinitely with upper body injury after scoring his 25th goal just during this West Coast trip, finally getting back after he had a little gap in scoring. Really bad timing with that injury. Hopefully he can get back in the lineup soon. So far tonight, to conclude this West Coast trip, you can go 2-2 with the win tonight. And I'm seeing a lot of effort tonight. I saw one bad giveaway in the defensive zone, but luckily the Edmonton shooter wound up missing the net. They still haven't gotten a shot on goal with 55.6 seconds left to go in the first. So some things to build upon. Hopefully you can come back home, re-energize, and, just continue that development, continue that winning style of hockey, even if you're not getting the wins.
Yeah, and that's the goal, right, Robbie? Be competitive this
Right.
year. It was never about wins and losses. It was about being competitive. And we're seeing, I mean, you didn't see that in Seattle. They just got absolutely just smoked in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And they got smoked a little bit in Vancouver.
Revenge.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. The ghost of Hackstall. Isn't it funny how some former coaches just haunt this team? But, yeah, I mean, you're starting to see more of an effort. They're starting to find their legs again. They're starting to find that little bit of a groove. Tonight specifically, I've seen a lot of good things defensively. Like Robbie was saying that stat earlier, they probably haven't allowed a shot since the 15-minute mark, something like that.
Yep.
And so that's huge, especially against a team like this that's overloaded. It's so heavy with offense, especially two of the best scorers in the league on the same line together. And then you got Hyman and Puljujärvi and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's been having a phenomenal last couple of years. It's huge to see this effort tonight, especially when you lose Konecny. A little ball of energy he's been not on the score sheet, but he's starting to find his groove again too. So this is going to be a huge win if you can pull it off. You got to keep this energy up for 40 more minutes, and you find yourself back in that groove before the All-Star break, and that brings good things. Always brings good things, and get back on the winning side.
I like 10-4 in shots. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Efforts there. The one thing I noticed tonight is, good passes. They're in the passing lanes defensively. They're not allowing good shots. They're allowing bad shots. And there's another giveaway there by Tippett. They're allowing Edmonton to make mistakes.
Right. Oh.
And not forcing the play.
Barabee gets his stick up high after getting clipped earlier in the period. So Edmonton gets a late power play here with 6 seconds to go.
Payback's a bitch. Oh, he didn't even
All
get the
right,
stick
then.
up. He just flat out punched him.
So as we turn to the second period, out here to our first period sponsor. If you are looking to buy or sell a home, or you have a change of career in brokerage, you contact Alan Foy at eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820, or visit him at alan.foy. Step in your life, sell your home or move into a new place like an apartment or what have you, is the guy. Okay, and for everyone out there who's commenting in out there in the fam, whether you're new joining us once again or for the first time, you're brought to you by Gleason's Bar Gavel. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out Gleason's Bar and style. Great there. And our second period sponsor, as the Oilers have tied the game. And the second period sponsor, All Campus. John Coyle, the man who runs the ramp booth. He also runs his shop down in Ocean City, New Jersey. He's giving off 20% off everything in the store, including hats and shirts to all of our subscribers. So get subscribed up. Say hi to John while you're buying some of your team merchandise. All right, then. Back to the game, or just tying this one up before the period ends. Well, that's a big momentum boost for the Oilers, and then we'll move the second, going to the end of the first period here.
They got a shot now. An awesome shot from the point by Tyson Barrie. Thought it was deflected in front by Hyman, but it actually just rose clean over Hart's glove hand. Those are always killers when you give up those goals with like 10, 20 seconds left to go in the period.
Mm-hmm. It's big momentum shifts, especially going in, and you get a big power play goal, which looked like he may have been screened, which is probably why Hart didn't pick it up. That didn't look like there was a lot on the shot, but yeah, I mean, maybe Hyman got a stick in the way, or whoever the defenseman was on the play possibly screened him. I think that's one that Hart should have had.
It rose though. I mean, it rose sneakily. I mean, like if it wasn't a lot on that shot, at least he had elevation. Or I wouldn't be surprised if they do change that goal, because I like at first glance I thought it was a deflection.
Yeah.
And Dylan's saying Huberdeau has been good the past 5 games, looking to follow his former self. But the media is forcing out Sutter. I only want Sutter and Andrew Burnett, who Huberdeau had 115 points under. Yeah, let's see here. Don saying Hart gave up a goal. Trading and Dak, he's saying, of course, that's how it always works. No matter where you are, no matter what kind of connection in the world, but the moment your team's about to score, you lose the feed, and then it comes right back on after everybody celebrates. Have this shit.
Wi-Fi's a bitch, huh?
It is.
No matter what part of the continent, and no matter what side of the border you're on. All right, then. So, gentlemen, any big takeaways from the first period that you feel that stand out to you? Anything that you kind of love, you hope they continue, or any issues that you kind of want them to stop and nip in the bud as we get into the second period?
I don't know. I'm kind of seeing, we're talking about speed. I'm seeing speed from this team. They were keeping up with McDavid on that one offensive rush that I had that overt reaction to. I like how they're playing defensively tonight, specifically Cam York. I just what they did with the lines here. Now you got Provy and Sanheim on the top pairing, which makes a lot of sense based on their style of play. And if you want to identify them as your top two D-men, why not have them together on that top line and then put Cam York with Risto, where Risto's your stay-at-home, and that allows Cam York to cheat up a little bit. But I particularly like his defense tonight, and they're keeping the play in front of them all up until that power play goal.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Robbie. Here, I like the defensive pressure they're putting on their 5-on-5. Obviously, the PK is going to have to be better moving forward. But defensively, I think they've been really solid. They're getting in passing lanes, they're forcing turnovers. They're not necessarily hitting guys, but I think that's something they definitely need to do more in the second period is make these guys uncomfortable with the puck. But offensively, I want to see a little bit more. I want to see them take a little bit more chances. Shoot a little bit more. To me, I thought they were forcing the puck a little bit. Just get more pucks on net, get a guy in front, and just put it on net. Don't necessarily need to be anything hard, but get it through, get it on net, and start creating some havoc. Oh,
Right.
Larry. It's tough though, Larry, because you got to think about it from his perspective. If it's a rising shot and he's screened, he can't see it. So how are you going to make that save if you can't see the puck? Or even if it's deflected at the last second, you can't. His reaction is not there. Do I think that was a bit of a soft goal? Possibly, but I have to see the replay again so I can see where the defenseman is, where Zach Hyman is, and if that stick even has a chance to touch that puck. I'm not going to sit there and say that he's got to make that save, but that's a tough one to give up.
Well, they'll show it in a minute. They're going to head to a commercial. The replay of that goal when they get back.
Here's where I'll agree
low
with
scoring period.
Maddie, real quick. Here's where I'll agree with Larry, though, is that you need your goaltender to make that occasional spectacular save, and that's where Hart's game has fallen short, where there have been times where he's been able to make that. I'm not saying he hasn't, but to consistently do that game in and game out, I think that just takes time, man. Judge him when he's a 26, 27-year-old.
Agreed.
Right. I mean, and you're in a dogfight right now. You stole, but Edmonton's not going to go away. Sure, they didn't have the best first period in the world, but it's like there's one thing that Edmonton can do. It's shoot the puck and score goals. So you can play. You got to play up to that at the end of the day. And you take a bad penalty late in the period, you put yourself behind the 8 ball, and you see the results. Can't be getting thrown into the box every 5 minutes either. So.
Yeesh.
So, all right, Jen, I'm going to throw you guys into the coaching situation. What would you be telling these guys going into this? So, like in the locker room right now, as you're getting ready for the second period, as everybody's sitting down, soaking in what happened.
Honestly, and coming from the Flyers' perspective, and knowing Tort's style, yes, they did play an overall good period, but you let your guard down there on the power play at an inopportune time, I'd blast them. I'd be like, you just lost that period in 6 seconds. Get your head out of your asses. And you know what I mean? Like, really just, fire them up or whatever, because what you're going to see is they came out this game playing a good pace, and eventually in the third period, those legs are going to start burning with lactic acid from they just played 24 hours ago in Calgary. They're on this West Coast trip. Get that adrenaline pumping, lay a little fire.
Not where I thought you were going to go with that.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Provy screened him.
It was Proby screening him.
Yeah, Proby definitely screened him. He did get more on the shot than I thought, but hard to not see
Ted
that puck
saying,
at all.
Ted saying, did they tie it up with 6 seconds left? Also, don't make a boneheaded play that puts us on the PK. Yes, they did, Ted. It was not. There was scored.
I definitely think Farabee got undisciplined there. It was a retaliatory type situation, and that's who you really got to fault there in terms of putting your team in a bind that late into the period. That is a good point.
Yeah, as far as your question though, Maddie, I'm gonna answer it this way. I'm gonna tell them, offensively, step up a little bit more. If the first 20 is done, you got your legs back. I know you played 24 hours ago, but at this point, your legs should be good. You're moving again. Try and sustain offensive pressure defensively. Keep doing what you're doing. Get in the shot lanes, get in the passing lanes, create turnovers, be physical, and stay disciplined. That's the big thing. Stay disciplined. This is one of the best power plays in the league, and they have two of the best scorers in hockey in the world. So that to me is staying out of the box is extremely important. No more dumb penalties.
Sure. Now, what about Woodcroft? What's he saying to the Oilers right now?
Get pucks on net.
You look at it
That's
this
a
way.
big one for me.
Right on that swinging. Get that, come out, get that off the fan opportunity going because you got back in. And now we're back in it.
Yep, it's all about getting pucks on net at this point for them.
Right. Because I'm a fan, but let another team's fan do it, and I will knock them out. Yeah.
Note the jerseys on the wall there, Larry.
Around and Larry be like, oh, no.
Note the jerseys on the wall there, Larry. Note the hat on the head there, Larry. What's up? I'm just messing.
But yeah, you're right though, Brian. Maddie, a lot of missed shots tonight. A couple bad Flyers giveaways, and they couldn't get the puck on that. You got to make that count.
Right.
No, absolutely.
Dacky said, give it 3 years. I think McDavid, the New York Rangers in Nashville or something.
I'll put them in the Rangers.
He has no faith that the Oilers would keep Draisaitl and McDavid around.
Well, I mean, at some point, you got to think of it this way. At some point, McDavid and Draisaitl is going to get over this. This not being able to get out and, great regular seasons, postseasons, typically first round out, second round out. They can't get over the hump. And, eventually these guys are going to get over it and you're going to be like, well, we're here to win. This window is closing. It's time for us to move on. And it'll happen eventually. I don't know if it'll be 3 years, but it'll happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the Oilers didn't manage to get to the third next year, so I mean, they did do something. Albeit, though, they beat LA. Then Calgary completely imploded during their series, even though Mike Smith gave up one of the crappiest goals in the playoffs. But I will say that was a memorable series. Maybe not for the right reasons, but it was. Yeah, they made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals, but they were overmatched by Colorado. Colorado smoked them when they got there, so it was not much of a series there. Not trying to be mean, it was not a series. Colorado had it won. Maybe the Oilers will. Maybe they'll draw Calgary in 3 straight rounds and go to the Stanley Cup final. Because it doesn't matter. They
For the record,
and
I like
Ace
we have
96
a couple Oilers
says,
fans
well, in
in
the
there.
meantime, Oilers will butt kick them harshly. Trying to get them and Dylan to start having a shouting match. But nothing's happening. It's kind of disappointing.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Dylan's
Dak
even
is
in the
saying,
chat
what are
anymore.
you saying? Some non-committal defense speech. I love the Oilers, but they haven't had a lot of fights since Mike Smith retired. And he put that in quotes.
Essentially, what he did. Nobody signed him. He's still technically a free agent, if he's even. I mean, unless he's on the roster, but it's still he hasn't played a game this year, and I don't think he will. Like, he's been done.
I heard he's bounty hunting up in Alberta.
He probably is. Oh, jeez.
Strange too, probably. Let's see. The strangest thing in the Arizona to the Cardinals, that will always be the weirdest thing he's ever accomplished. And the greatest thing he's ever accomplished, too. I got to give him that. They should give him a plaque. It's like you actually got Arizona Coyotes to here's a commemorative plaque for accomplishing something they will never, ever accomplish ever again. Ace 96 saying they tend to start real slow.
Yeah, and that's the thing that scares me the most is once this team gets going, they can roll.
And the Flyers have a habit of not doing what gets put on them. Some do, but then other times they don't. The game hasn't exactly been hasn't been the best feature for the Flyers this year. Let's see. Ted also saying McDavid with defense around him. Imagine that. Stanley Cup. That's what had defense.
Well, we always imagined what a defense around Nate McKinnon would result in, and we saw that. So I don't think it would be any different.
I don't think so either. And Connor McDavid is way better than Nathan McKinnon, which is scary. Scary to think about because Nate's amazing.
Yeah, McKinnon is actually 14th in the NHL in points despite missing 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
Was it, I think his 22-23 average, I think I read earlier today, was a little over 1.5 points per game, which ranks second only behind Connor McDavid's 1.79. I'm seeing here, bringing this up, and I don't think he was top star. I'll go into who was top star later on in the show, but 14th in points despite missing 11 games.
Mm-hmm. Again, phenomenal player. It's just crazy to think that McDavid is even better than him.
Yeah.
It makes me sick.
Man. And this is why I always say tanking is not the worst thing in the world to do.
Yeah,
because you get some nice talent if you suck.
Right.
All right. Hey, Colorado gets something nice out of it, though. And the Oilers got a couple in there, too. Of course, the Oilers were actually pretty bad when they got McDavid, and they weren't the best team in the world during those days.
I mean,
but I actually, you know what? Since we do have two, oh, go ahead, Rob. What were you going to say?
No, I like where you're going.
I was going to say, since we have here in the chat right now, while you guys are still here, Ace and Dacky, how do you feel about Nugent Hopkins and how he's turned out? Because he was a number one pick. Was he number all that year they got him? He might have been. Anyway, how do you guys feel about him? I mean, he's turned out to be a pretty decent depth player, but do you feel like that, he was worth the pick? Or do you think that, or are you satisfied with it? I'm curious because I know obviously we know Taylor Hall pound out. We all know what happened there. So I'm just interested on how Nugent Hopkins, how you guys feel on him.
Second period is underway.
It was all right then. So we'll take a look at the second period here. Ted saying, what are you been back for? Health reasons, in air quotes. So they don't have to get traded to the Islanders or other bad teams.
If they're getting traded,
so
they're
Ace
going to good teams.
Yeah, I mean, Taves, I know, sent out a letter and all that, and he made like a note or whatever. He sent it out to the fan base or whatever in the NHL. But Kane, from what I understand, is he's still looking to get traded. His hip, I don't think is really as much of an issue as people think it is, but
Right.
I know he does not want to go to the Islanders. I know the Rangers are out on him. I know the Leafs are out on him from the trades that they just recently made. I think there's going to be a dark horse team that gets Patrick Kane. It's a big turnover, and the Flyers couldn't do anything with it. But I don't see Kane to Chicago after next week.
Oh, you think he's definitely gone?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think he goes. Oh, we'll talk about that later.
Yes.
I almost gave it away.
Yes.
And Ace is saying been 5 years ago. He's now an excellent player, good two-way guy. Dacky saying New should have had a pretty good year. Has had a pretty good year this year, and is our longest-serving player. I like him, but not nearly as much as Hyman. And Ace saying Hyman is like Craig McTavish was, but 100 times more talented. Hyman reminds me more of yeah. Dacky said Hyman reminds me of a more polite Ryan Smith.
I love Ryan Smith.
Yeah.
Carlos Chipiard. Carlos Chipiard asking score. It is 1-1 here in the second period. Just got going.
Yeah, it's been
Noah Cates had the goal for the Flyers. Sorry.
Tyson Barrie for them instead of the Oilers. It's been a tough contested game on defense, which is surprising coming from these teams have been letting up a lot, their fair share of goals. We talked a lot about how much the Flyers have been leaky on this West Coast trip. Well, Edmonton, I mean, look at these last couple of games. They lost to Ottawa Senators 6-3, gave up 6 goals. 5-4 in a shootout loss to the Red Wings. Another shootout loss to the New York Rangers 5-4, and then an OTL to the Colorado Avalanche 6-5. It's been a struggle, and the struggle is real, Brian, for Jack Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell in this in that 3-game stretch, he's looking at a goals against of over 4, and he's looking at a save percentage of well under 9. It's been a rough stretch. Obviously, we know what this Edmonton team is. High scoring, tries to outscore the opponents, but you're going to come up against some of these teams that can compete too. Teams like Colorado, they can score a lot of goals. The Rangers can score a lot of goals. So outscoring your opponent only gets you so far. You got to be able to play defense, and to me, it's still the Edmonton Oilers' Achilles heel. They have no. Darnell Nurse is overrated. Bouchard's solid, but he's still really young. I think he's only like 21. If you guys can correct me on that. I mean, they still have a fairly young defense, and Jack Campbell's just in a rough stretch. He'll come out of it, but he's just a rough stretch for the Oilers right now. And, it happens. It's a part of the game, and they'll come out of it. This is a playoff team regardless.
Well, guys, it's February 21st, 2023, and Chucky is still our GM. How is he allowed to be in charge of another trade deadline for this team? Organization.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Ant. Ant. I think depending on what he does in this deadline will determine his fate moving forward. I think this is his last chance.
I could see that. Larry, by the way, is thinking Kane is going to Carolina.
Wow, that'd be blockbuster.
What were you gonna say, Rob?
Generally, if you're gonna hire a new GM, he's gonna want his own coach, and you just hire Torts. So, I think he gets. I'm just gonna keep on sounding like a broken record. He's not on the hot seat. I think he gets a pass because of that. They gotta allow time for it to come to fruition.
Right.
Unless this is a stretch.
He said Hack
This
was
is a
going to
stretch.
get his change.
What if they allow Torts to help pick the GM?
Oh. What if they make Torts GM and head coach?
That'd be interesting.
And he could go the Jerry Jones route.
Yeah. Oh God.
Well, not the owner, but you get it.
I know what you mean. That's just has catastrophe.
Let me give a better example, like that. Guy that's like, I'm only going to be head coach or manager unless you make me GM as well.
Yeah.
You've seen that in baseball, football.
Didn't Mario Lemieux do something like that? Owner/player.
Oh yeah.
And hockey.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Oh, could you imagine? No, I don't want to.
Wow.
The hockey equivalent of that, by the way, would be like Keenan, St. Louis Blues, the GM of St. Louis Blues.
Kevin Dubois deserves a tip of the hat for that deal. He pulled off a magic trick to get not just Ryan O'Reilly, but Noah Cardi as well. And he's not even paying $2 million of Ryan O'Reilly's contract. Tip of the hat to that man for that pulling off that move.
That's not bad at all, right there.
Oh,
he's Ace, by the way, saying in the heat wave.
Yeah, I get it, but I still feel like he's 21 years old. He saw some growing to do.
Also saying true. Anthony wants to be the GM next. That's how he stays and Fletcher goes.
Okay.
And what's up, Tommy? Throwing out. What's going on, brother? Yeah, Don throwing out the wow, O'Reilly got a hat trick. Jesus Christ.
O'Reilly.
That's got Toronto has to take that. They have to make that his goal scoring soundbite. Every time he scores, that's his in the
if it hasn't been done already by St. Louis, it's a crime.
But I feel like that he maybe has to throw a little bit of. He's got to throw a little bit of money their way to be able to use that jingle.
Yeah, probably.
Even if they don't even use the auto parts.
I'm sure that they'll do that. I'm sure Toronto wouldn't mind.
I mean, they're making more than enough money.
There's a few nice saves there from Hart. There's a few nice saves there from Hart.
Yeah.
I've been saying that a couple times, so it's
right.
It's 1-1, brother.
Oh,
What are we almost midway second?
About that, yeah.
12-10 left to go in the second.
The thing I liked about that little defensive sequence there was the fact that, you saw the entire defensive core just kind of close in on Hart. They're not really giving anybody a clear shot at any part of the net that's open while Hart was down trying to find the puck. And then as soon as somebody gets it, they cleared it. So usually I'm not the biggest fan of icing, but I think that's one of the situations where you have no choice but ice puck. You just get it and you just get it out of the zone. Unfortunately, the puck does come back into your own zone, but you win the face-off, it's a non-issue.
Ace is saying, by the way, are you saying he scored 3 goals on Jesus Christ? I don't think Toronto would ever compare any of their goaltenders in recent memory to Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, he can't really. Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball. So what makes you think we can't score 3 goals on him?
I'm so glad I waited to say something. That's exactly what I was going to say. And I normally jump in and steal your thunder every time, but I'm showing discipline. I'm getting better, boys.
You are. I appreciate that. Because you're usually the poor guy anyway.
You trying to tell me
a
Jesus
couple.
Christ can't hit a curveball?
Oh yes. I like Jesus very much, but he no help me with curveball.
Up your butt, chill, dude.
Oh man.
Ace.
He does save. He does. Ooh.
Let's see, Anthony say.
Yeah, only Jesus Christ saves more than Bernie
Right.
Bernard.
What moves would make this a successful trade deadline? Would just getting rid of Hayes' contract make it a success? What else?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That wouldn't be the thing. I would want. I don't think it's just the Hayes contract. I think you would want to get rid of JVR. That, and after that, I would say you also have to get a decent return. And I say decent return as in, I would say draft stock, if anything. I wouldn't be necessarily caring about. With Hayes,
Maybe
I mean,
some NHL ready.
you might be able to pull a couple. You might be able to pull a decent. Yeah.
I mean, for me, you got to get rid of these.
I would say
some of
draft
these-
capital though for the most part.
You got to get rid of some of these expiring contracts. You got to lose JVR's contract. He's getting a lot of attention from teams on the West Coast. Oilers, Knights, just to name a couple. Here's a 3-on-1. Puya Harvey couldn't do it. So you got to get rid of them. I mean, if you can pull out the Hayes deal, great. I think that's a huge step moving forward because that's roughly $15 million that you just cleared for the cap. I don't necessarily think you need to grab a ton of draft capital for it, but like Rob, you said, NHL ready talent. We can't argue with that.
It's worth its weight in gold.
Mm-hmm. If you can get some picks in this year's draft, great. Try and snag them up. But for me, I'm looking for younger NHL ready talent. That's my thing. But yeah, get rid of the expiring contracts. Braun, gone. JVR, gone. Hayes, if you can get him gone, great. There's one other one particularly that I'm thinking of. Who was it? I'm blanking now.
Provy?
Nah, I don't know if anybody's going to take him this year.
No.
Somebody else with an expiring contract. It'll come to me, but
No one.
Let's give you
Okay, an expiring contract. Yeah. Ace was saying Oilers outshot 2-1 way through this game. Not good.
Sure, they're missing the net a lot, but to the credit, play good in front net defense.
Yeah, they just had a 3-on-1 with the Flyers. And he had a clean pass and a clear shot from Peter Harvey. He couldn't handle the puck, though.
See Ted saying, Chuck and his staff getting fired. Clean the house. Ted's throwing out Provy, he's throwing out D'Angelo, and he's throwing out Risto. Those are the guys that he's pretty much.
I mean, if we're being honest, we'll say it's a successful deadline. Trade half the team for Timo Meier. Make it happen. That could save Chuck Fletcher's job.
If that could actually work, if he could get Timo Meier and on top of that as well, have to retain absolutely zero salary and two on top of that, I think that would save his fucking job. Because be like, God damn, bro, how'd you pull that one off?
Speaking of Jesus Christ, he couldn't make that deal happen. So, Howie Roseman,
maybe. Wow. Yeah, I don't know who else I was thinking of. I'm looking at the roster on Cap Friendly. I don't know who the hell I was thinking of.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say Cam Atkinson, but I looked at it and I saw that he still has 2 more years on his deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure who you were speaking of.
Maybe that was it. Maybe those are just the 3 guys that I want to see gone.
Right. Just free up some space so you can continue to influx, the talent that's doing well with the Phantoms and get him up here and just keep on infusing that youth movement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bring Tyson Forrester up. That would be my main guy to look for. If you get that spot freed up, bring him up. He's having a great year. He's having a great year. And if you move JVR, that frees up a spot for him right there. You throw him right on the right wing.
Mm-hmm.
Ted saying, besides Billy King, Chuck has to be the worst GM in Philly sports, right? I don't know. I'm sure there were some GMs for the Eagles in the day, and maybe one for the Sixers that might possibly be in candidacy for that. But
that's why I laughed.
Let's see. Ace saying, Oilers look like rancid sacks of moldy bananas so far. Oh, that's always nice. It's always pleasant to deal with.
Such an awesome visual.
It's got to smell good, too. I mean, they're not getting a shot from that.
Definitely.
Edmonton's definitely
we're working in a produce. Edmonton, they're not backing down. They didn't have the best start, but they're in their opportunity. It's hard to.
Oh, what a great fucking goal deflection! Is that Tippett streaking in? Yes, sir. Nice. The gingered one. 2-1 Flyers. That's a clean goal.
All started by that kid like Soul.
Yep.
Wait out.
Him on the forecheck. Hayes just delivers a sweet pass that Owen Tippett gets a stick on, deflects over top of Skinner's shoulder.
Go ahead, get it, kid.
Yeah. 16th goal of the season for Tippett. He's been looking strong. He's another one of those building blocks. myself and Taylor were talking about earlier on.
Yeah, nice little snapshot. Goes right up over the shoulder.
Yeah, for sure.
And Larry's saying, problem is besides Cutter, we have all third line.
He's not wrong.
Saying score, of course.
Like I like Zayd Wisdom a lot, but I don't think Zayd Wisdom is a top 6.
No, I mean
I think he'll be a great player though.
Yeah, no, for sure. I could see Noah Cates winding up being a top 6 player. I could see Tyson Forster, if he develops properly and gets a shot up here, he could be a top 6 player with his shot alone. But we don't necessarily need guys to be top 6 scorers right now. I mean, Tippett could be that guy. Frost could still be that guy.
Right.
When Coots comes back, he's going to take his spot on the top line. And then it's just kind of filling in the spaces from there.
Let's see here. Ace saying, Torch seems like he's really mellowed out over time. I don't like that. I demand he get back to being unhinged.
You got to watch the post-game pressers. They're must-watch TV, must-see TV for sure. Peek in at Linus Sandin, man. Linus Sandin's the prospect that I can't quit. 25 years old still.
Is he still in the system?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's with the Phantoms.
Flyers definitely have some momentum here now after that goal. They're spending a lot of time in the Edmonton zone. Yamamoto able to cover up the puck.
Yeah, Christian Taylor. He says, got a question. Saw a hockey clip from 1988. I'm 35, so I was only 1 in 1988. Inside the goalie crease was a box. What was the box for? There's no box. And was that was the crease zone for the goaltenders. You were not allowed to have your skate in the crease. If you had your skate in the crease and you scored, the goal would be disallowed. That was the reason for the box being there.
Right. That's right. Yeah, you're right, Brian, too. He's gone. He's in the Swedish Hockey League now.
Yeah, because I know when he came up and played for the Flyers for that little bit, he did not look good.
No.
He did not look good. He looked like he still needed a little bit of development, but I guess he didn't want to wait. He either wanted to be the NHL now or he was going to go back to Europe, and he chose to go back to Europe.
Yep.
Let's see here. So, what's Anthony saying? Any chance Coots plays in March? I think it would be good for he has anything left after these surgeries before going into next year.
That was the original plan.
I'm sure. I think the Flyers are more.
That was the original plan, but that was the original plan. But I could see them siding with Brian's point of view of just holding him off and getting him right for camp next season. But my original thought when they put out that plan was just to shake off that rust in meaningless games. That does hold its weight in goal, Brian, too. So what do you think to that?
I say you hold him out. Let him get 100%. That's my thing. Is it really worth it for him to get maybe 15 games in this year? I don't think so, because he's going to be skating all off season anyway. Right. So you let him get the rust off skating around, get himself ready, get his legs going, get him ready for training camp, get back to – he's obviously not going to get back into form until he's going to get into training camp in the game situation. But, you have to let this guy get healthy. You have to see how his back is, and a lot of that is not letting him play. I'm especially with the back, and he's had setbacks already. So let him get healthy. Let the back get stronger. Let him get healthy. Get him back next year. Let him play a full 82 instead of just playing 10 to 15 to maybe 12 games.
Right, yeah.
And right, Larry and Ted, the gold, and you guys are right, by the way, Ted and Larry. It didn't count when your skate was in the crease unless you were Brett Hall in the Stanley Cup Finals. You are correct.
Yeah. Yes.
That was
Correct.
for Buffalo, so I'm perfectly fine with that.
There was another question that I saw. Who was it? I think it was Ted actually posted a good one. He wants to know if we were happy with Cutter or did we want somebody else?
Very happy with Cutter.
Yeah,
I was thrilled that he fell 5. I was thrilled. I was thrilled with him, and you know what? From what I've seen with him at Boston College, they nailed it. This kid's going to be something else. I'm very big on this guy. I think he's going to be with the Flyers before the end of the season. I think he will sign a contract. But he's got to do it soon. Otherwise, he's going to lose a year.
Let's see here. Larry did also say Chuck took a beating for the G trade, but he hit a homer with it. Well, I mean, Tippett has been playing real well, and he's been doing pretty good. I wouldn't jump. I will say this: I wouldn't necessarily jump to the homer immediately. I do want to see next year and then the year. I want to see the consistency in it. He's having a good year, a great year this year, and I'm happy with that. In that stride, I want to see him do it next year. I want to see him pull that consistency going forward. And if he can do that, then yeah, I will absolutely agree with the homer, with that being a homer.
I mean, to be fair, Matty, he did play well for the Flyers last year as well. It was a little bit of a smaller sample size than we're getting this year. He's getting rewarded for his good play more this year than he did last year, but I have no complaints about what he did last year. And I think that, I would really consider this a grand slam if they can land that first-round pick next year and nail that prospect that Florida's gave us in that deal as well.
That's true, and Larry did bring that up with the first-round pick too. Yeah, that is true. I forgot about that first-round pick that we got out of that. So that is true. That is true. If they do nail that, then yeah, you can't really complain at all. And I have nothing to complain about with Tippett. Tippett's played very well. When we also discovered that apparently he's also beautiful, we brought a family back together.
Wade Allison, Longwell's brother.
Yeah. Yep.
They just need to acquire a third ginger and make the ginger line.
Perfect.
I think we have them all. I think the Flyers already have them all.
Bring back G.
Yeah, bring back G. That'll complete everything.
I'm half tongue in cheek there because, what if you want to, the Flyers do rebuild this well and are one piece away, and G's looking to, put, a cherry on top of the career and come back to Philly.
You can call it the GTA line.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Nice. I like that.
Figured the gamers and you guys would.
Yeah, very well done there, Brian. Very well done.
Speaking of well done, this PK has been very, very good.
Power play. Yes.
This PK has been much, much better. That was probably the best chance there in that little sequence there for Edmonton. They're doing a great job of, like I've been saying, pretty much since the first period. They've been doing a great job getting in shot lanes, forcing bad shots, forcing shots to go wide, getting in the passing lanes, and turning the puck over. They're doing a great job of that in this game, and Delorier just absolutely just took a rocket of a shot off the hand. Unfortunately, hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully those always sting.
You talk about validity of contracts. Fletcher took a little heat about all the money he had to give up to get Delorier, but he's been exactly as advertised. Comes in, takes no shit, fights when the game needs to have a momentum swing, stick up for your top players and bring, a solid, albeit not spectacular offensive game.
Mm-hmm.
Playing defensively strong.
Mm-hmm. And I was just about to bring that up. You just took the words right out of my mouth. He's always been defensively strong. He's good 5-on-5, and you can use him on the penalty kill because he's not afraid to get physical. He's not afraid to block a shot. But the big reason why you bring him in, if you're trying to do a culture change, this is a guy to bring in because the leadership in the locker room. He holds his teammates accountable. He plays with so much heart and so much energy, and he's a player that you want to model your young guys to model after. Maybe not necessarily some of the rough stuff that he does, but the energy, the effort, the passion that he brings. He was such a good signing. Yeah, I mean, it's a little heat, but if you break it down, it's only $1.75 million a year. It's not a terrible contract. Maybe a little long for a player his style, but to me, I was thrilled to get him here because the locker room needed a guy like him, and they still do. You're seeing great play on the PK from him. You're seeing some, he has what, like 5-6 goals this year for the Flyers, somewhere along there. But you bring him in for leadership more than anything else, and you're seeing the leadership on and off the ice.
Real quick, Brian, Patrick Brown just drew a great hooking penalty on McLeod. Flyers on the power play.
Yeah, this is a big time to get on the power play. Have a 2-1 lead. You're essentially on the power play for the rest of the period. You got to take advantage of this. You essentially have Edmonton on their heels now, but they're never out of it. Got to make it count. Got to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, Delorier does have 4 goals on the season.
4 goals. Okay, that was close.
Yeah, he's had 4 or 5. But...
Wow, there.
Yeah, Frost fumbled that.
Wondering where the penalty was, and then there it is. So
nice
Brown
pass.
Went down, and that's what drew that penalty.
Oh, nice move. You should have took that to the net. Oh. Flyers set up.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, what a shot by McDavid. He may have scored there. I got to see that again. Oh, come on. You got to do something with it.
Look like chunks that fell out of Bigfoot's underwear. Horrid.
Wow. Very colorful. I like this guy. Hey, hit that subscribe, brother.
Yeah. On every Tuesday night, man. Every Tuesday night, 8:30.
Absolutely. I love it when we gather outside of Philadelphia.
Ooh.
Maybe one day we'll complete the whole collection. We'll get all 32.
You could tell Sanheim was tired. He couldn't keep up with McDavid. Not that many players can, but he struggled a little bit to get back. Oh!
Inside of the post.
Nice. Talking Flyers, but we do talk national. Thank you, man, for the subscribe.
Appreciate you guys. You too, Christian. Appreciate you guys. Love talking hockey with y'all.
Thank you, Christian. Absolutely, guys. And says favorite fly vault, I would say, are Eric Lindros and Keith Primo. Love it. Love it.
Big face off.
Every time I hear the name Keith Primo, I think 5 overtimes. And pulling out a gorgeous move right out of his ass. Like, I don't think Keith Primo ever did as gorgeous of a move on that overtime goal. Dead tired.
They were all that tired. I heard a story that they were all puking in the bus on the ride home because they were that dehydrated.
Yep.
Ace, we appreciate you, brother. Tell your friends.
Gotta order pizza.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to order food and all kinds of other stuff just to keep them hydrated, keep the energy up. So a couple guys were on IVs. I couldn't even imagine.
Keith and did that move on Darius Kasparaitis too, who no one loved in Philadelphia, and he scored on goalie Ron the Penguin. Like, oh yeah, he was. I forgot all about that.
I'm sorry, I love this commercial.
Which one's that?
The one where they're showing all the different NHL games and they're talking about how guys now are cheat codes.
Yeah.
Compared to the league back in the day, which it's true because these guys are doing shit that they never did back in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, you could thank guys like Connor McDavid for that.
Yep.
Right. Let's see. Saint Croix. Really? Interesting.
Going back, I like it, Larry.
Yeah, it was back to the early 80s.
It's tough. It's tough for me.
I love Kasparaitis at times, like when he hammered Lindros. Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna be fun.
Who did it? Who didn't
That's the
hammer?
reason why we don't like Kasparaitis here.
Man, I'm gonna like this guy.
Right.
I'll throw a name out there, Larry.
Fair, so it's like, all right.
Yeah. I'll throw out a name. I mean, everybody knows on the show that my crush is John LeClaire, but another one of my top flyers, Timmy Kerr.
Yeah, Timmy Kerr was good. I never got to see him play, but he was a good player.
Yep.
Old team.
I got beat up so many times.
Arguably the best goal scorer in the
for artistically improving his Tim Kerr poster, which is ironic because he had a Tim Kerr poster, but he was a Devils fan. It was a giveaway. He went to a Flyers Devils game. It wound up being a giveaway. One year.
Okay. I was just wondering because it's like that is he was a Ranger on top of it, which was even fun.
I think we should get to some trade talk here.
We should. So let's jump into that period. Sponsored by FanUp, the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. If you're out there, NFL season, and but if you're into the NBA and of course the NHL as well as the MLB, I believe that did pitchers and catchers report yet for spring training? Has that happened yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right then. So, hey, listen, it's about time you guys start getting ready to get your fantasy teams lined up, I would say. And of course, the daily contest will be available. And if you use the promo code A2, value app. And yeah, get yourself in on that fantasy against some fantasy sports. And I know from his past, Mr. Broken One, he's earned himself quite a nice bit of fantasy teams there.
Oh yeah, the AFC and NFC championship game slate on DFS was very kind to me. Yes. Give me a nice big
All right then. So jumping in. Nice. Yeah. Big rumor mill time, trade talk, and the rumor mill running deadline has come and gone, which is when again? It is March. What is that date? NHL trade deadline is. I just want a date. That's all I want, guys. You don't
What's the
have
trade
to,
deadline? Trade deadline is March 3rd. It's next Friday.
Yeah, March 3rd. That was what I was looking for. Yep.
Next Friday. There's a deal looming.
All right, then. So next Friday will be the end of that. So, deal looming, you said?
There's a deal looming. Nothing has been done yet, but I will not give out my sources because I like my sources to be left unknown. I'm just kidding. I get all my stuff from Puck Empire on Instagram. So definitely give them a follow. They do great stuff over there. So Columbus, they're saying it's not a done deal, but it's essentially done. Vladislav Gavrikov has been dealt. They're waiting for the trade partner to settle some business, which sounds like they're trying to clear up some cap space to bring this cat in. Who the mystery team is, I'm not necessarily sure who, but I know of two teams that are looking for defensemen. The Edmonton Oilers and the Boston Bruins. This sounds more like a move that the Boston Bruins are going to pull off. This is just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for cheap help. He's relatively cheap help. We know that Edmonton is trying to get Erik Karlsson, and this guy would be the fallback. But of any teams for this particular player to make sense for, it's Boston. I think he'd be a good fit on that defense. So nothing's set yet. I'm hoping to hear that this is going to be a done deal at some point tonight. But don't be surprised if in the next day or two you see Vladislav Gavrikov traded to the Boston Bruins. That's the latest that I have. But there's obviously so much more to talk about. Patrick Kane, Timo Meier. There's a few others out there. Jacob Chikrin, who thought was going to be an LA King at this point. That deal fell through due to prospect return. They wanted Brent Clark. King said hell no. Apparently they wanted Quentin Byfield. They said hell no. So a deal for them fell through. So we'll see. We'll see what else happens with Chikrin. But obviously we want to touch on the big three here, which is Kane, Meier, Chikrin.
Right. And in lieu of that deal, if it is to the Boston Bruins, at least he will be leaving the Columbus Blue Jackets. And there was some talk last week that part of their plan in terms of rebuilding what's going on there in Columbus was to get a lot of pieces in that deal in order to turn around for a Jacob Chikrin. So maybe we see that transpire. I personally have a different team in mind that we'll get to in the shootout, but that's distinctly possible. Now, acknowledging that it's Boston and not Edmonton, Karlsson, well known, a target for them. Here's another target that's been picking up steam, and it's your boy, John Klingberg.
Yeah, Klingberg is he's on his way out. He was initially signed. They only signed him to a one-year deal for trade bait reasons. They weren't going to sign him to anything else, and I think they made that very clear with him when he signed the contract that he was going to be trade bait. He'd be another good fit for Edmonton, like like Ace just said here, Oilers need 2 solid defensemen. You know, when Adam Larson left, they left a gaping hole. So, you know, Erik Karlsson is well back to his, playing at a top tier level. Be a huge addition for Edmonton. I think if you bring in Klingberg, he brings in a bit more of a physical game than Karlsson does. But he does have some offensive upside. Put in the right system. I honestly believe that Anaheim system right now was not perfect for him, which is why he's struggling a little bit. Send him to Edmonton, get something back in return. I think you see John Klingberg kind of jump up for the rest of the year, and I think he has a better end of the season than he did start.
Certainly. Yeah, he could have more offensive upside with Edmonton. They could see that. The only way I would say Karlsson's a better fit than Klingberg is we have seen Klingberg's defensive metrics slip over the past couple of seasons. He still plays at a good level, just not, at an elite level that I think Karlsson would bring to Edmonton.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the big thing to remember here is Klingberg, you can put him on the second or third pairing and he'll be fine. You bring in a guy like Erik Karlsson, you're putting that guy on the top pairing because he's a top pairing guy. I know he's struggled over the last couple of years, but you're seeing his level of play this year. I'd say he's pretty much back to the player that he was, and he deserves a shot at the cup. He spent most of his career in Ottawa where they really didn't do much. And now he's in San Jose. He's in another rebuild situation. I think he had one run at the cup with San Jose when they played Pittsburgh. Who did they play? Who did they lose to in the cup? I think it was Pittsburgh.
Yeah, played Pittsburgh.
I believe he was a part of that. But since then, San Jose's kind of been irrelevant. Yeah. So San Jose's kind of been irrelevant. Got to get this guy an opportunity to play at a high level, an elite level. And I think Edmonton's a really good fit for a guy of his style. And they already have the best power play in hockey. You add him to the power play line, scary. They're already at 31% going into tonight's game. 31%. The league average is 20, 24, 25. They're 6 points above that. Imagine adding Karlsson to the mix in that. Maybe that gets him past the hump and finally gets him to the Stanley Cup for the first time since 2006.
Yep. And I mean, Anaheim will be looking to shed some pieces. Being that they're obviously not in a win now mode, while Gibby's in his prime, there's been some talk that Buffalo Sabres might be interested, and adding a goaltender of John Gibson's caliber, could really make them a playoff contender as early as this season.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, Lucas Dostal's been up, with Stolarz being a UFA at the end of the year, and he's having some injury issues right now. But I don't think they trade Gibson yet. I think it's coming, and it's coming sooner than later. I just don't think it's going to be this year.
Okay.
Again, lack of depth there, I think, is the biggest reason why Dostal is the future. Gibson's been good. And he deserves a team that he's going to be able to win with. I still think Anaheim's another year or two out from being a legit contender. Moving into a team like Buffalo would make sense because Buffalo's, starting to come out of their rebuild. They're putting stuff together. TNT is doing his thing, and I finally think they're coming out of their rebuild now. Devils are coming out of their rebuild, so some of these younger teams are really starting to making a push and starting to add the pieces. Buffalo needs goaltending. I think that's the only thing holding them back. But I don't think they're going to move Gibson until next. I think next year is going to be the year you see Gibson get traded. I will cry if they trade Adam Henrique, though. I think that's the next captain of the Anaheim Ducks.
There's guys on the Flyers power play. Who was the power play coached? Or how was it coached? time that the power play was good.
And you could say under Michelle Therrien with AB, the COVID season, their power play was, I believe, top 10.
Yeah.
True.
They were clicking. They were running on all cylinders.
The fly they had was during the bubble, but before the bubble, they were actually not doing too bad. That's the really good year with AB.
Oh, he's asking this as a trivia question because he's giving us a hint here. He says he's an American. Oh yeah, all right. Well, there's the answer. He said Joey Mullen.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that was the last time, but yeah. Joey Mullen, a fantastic coach.
Yeah, maybe that was the last time they were within the top 5. But yeah, I agree. I liked the power play when it was being run by Michelle Therrien. He was a good offensive mind. They had a bit of a better roster then, and they just found some inconsistencies with the head coach, and everything kind of fell apart from there. So I don't necessarily blame Michelle Therrien for that. Is he coaching anywhere, by the way? Yeah, anybody pick him up?
Okay. No, I don't think so.
No, Yao got picked up. I forget where he went, though, but he got picked up by somebody.
Yeah, I don't think so. I thought I heard, I might be confusing him with Claude Julien, that he wanted to spend time with family, take some time off.
Yeah, right. He's still available.
Yeah, that's what I see here too. One last thing I got for the trade rumors. I mean, we've been talking about a lot with Don in the chat, Brian, about the potentiality of the Red Wings actually inking Dylan Larkin to the extension that he's looking for. I think he's looking for $9 million. The team's roughly offering or thinking, their line of thinking is $8 million. But I was recently listening to a podcast from Elliot Freeman, and he goes, he doesn't think that Larkin is going anywhere, that they'll be able to work it out. The salary discrepancy, they're not worlds away. And specifically based on what is it? I was reading this article here. In a nutshell, with Larkin, he had an opportunity to exercise, waive his no trade clause, and he didn't do it. And I think that was a sign that he wants to be here. He wants to stay here with the Red Wings and continue being their captain. And Elliot, he's a pretty good hockey mind. So, Don, I think you're safe. I think the Red Wings get a deal done with Larkin.
I mean, I think so too. It's like you said, they're not worlds away. I think what they're offering him is like 8.25, something along those lines, and right. What he wants is about 9. Right. So they're not even $1 million apart. So they're in the same ballpark. They're in the same vicinity of what they're both looking for. But I think they'll come to terms. He doesn't want to leave Detroit. He's not in a rush if anything doesn't get done. Excuse me. I think it's inevitable that they get a deal done because Larkin's having one of the best seasons he's had in a while. He's on one of the hottest streaks in the NHL right now, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that they get the deal done. It's like I said, they're not worlds away. They're only within $1 million. They have to get it done because, like I was saying to Don, if they lose Larkin, they're set back another 3 or 4 steps because they have to replace him. And they have some good pieces in place right now to be a playoff team right now. You lose Larkin, that's a hard person to replace. And I like the pieces they have, but none of them are as good as Dylan Larkin. I'm a big fan of Mason Raymond. He's not as good as Dylan Larkin. So they got to get a deal done. And I think they will. I just think it's going to take it to the offseason. I just don't think they're going to get it done during the season.
And looking at it from their upper management standpoint, Stevie Eiserman had an opportunity to move him before that no trade clause kicked in and did not do that. So they want to keep him here too. It's just they got to settle on the number, and they will.
Oh, they absolutely will. It's just a matter of when.
Right.
You take it easy, Christian.
Appreciate you, Christian. Look forward to talking to you next week.
Bertuzzi.
You got a long way to fall in a short amount of time there, Don.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh my God! If they win the draft lottery and not make the playoffs this year and finish in like 15th, I'm going to punch somebody in the face.
Interesting. Flyers 16-0-1 record when leading after 2 periods. Did I just jinx it? Maybe.
Very
but still, that's a great. I mean, talking about you're building something here. This is a team that could hold on to leads.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. That's
and
Oilers
saying
towards
the next dynasty.
Mm.
One piece of business from around the league that I wanted to talk before we hit the third period here. Bally's officially going bankrupt, so that does affect some NHL teams. For this season, they'll be fine. Next year, however, the NHL might have to hunt for some local teams to get some coverage since Bout and will no longer be carrying several of those sports teams that they carry. And the Ducks are actually one of those teams.
They are. Anybody that had Fox Sports West had Bally's, and from what I've read something along the lines that they're going to try and figure out a way to accommodate so fans don't miss out on the games.
Wow, that's interesting though, because I usually go a lot of Bally's tweets to get post-game pressers from both hockey and baseball. You know what I mean? In terms of who's going to be. A lot of times the manager's making their next day starters known at that time, and Bally's always did a great job in reporting that. So that is a shame to hear, Maddie.
Yeah. I guess they just didn't. They don't have the money like that. I guess they'd hoped they'd. I mean, that's the only thing they have. They thought they would get the money, and it just didn't work out.
I mean, they'll find something else. They'll find somebody else to take these games.
So much.
They'll find somebody else to take.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
They're not going to miss out. They're not going to miss out on the money.
About that.
Maybe to go back to Fox Sports.
Big concern though with that was the local blackout. That was the biggest concern.
Yeah, I think like I said, I'll have to try and find it, but I think the NHL said they're going to accommodate
with the NHL. Right. I think that was also a little bit more worried about it, honestly, than anybody else.
Yeah. We are underway in the third period. It is still a 2-1 game.
It's wrong in baseball.
It's true, though.
It is. And
Ace, keep
I don't know. I
haven't
haven't
out there, bro. We'll see you next week.
NBC, they cover everything else. All right, Ace, you take it easy, man.
Ooh, maybe this means more ESPN games. I don't mind ESPN coverage. It's actually pretty good this year for the most part.
Could possibly be the case.
Minus the All-Star game.
Let's see. Sanka Deck 17 saying, Who will win the game, in your opinion? Well, I think I'll go Flyers.
Yeah, I said it before. This team's been good with the lead coming into the third period. It is a very precarious one, 2-1. Whenever you're playing a team with Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, would it be out of the realm of possibility of seeing them potting 2 goals in quick succession? I could see it, but they've been playing a pretty good defensive team. Got to keep the energy, got to keep the legs skating here in the third period of the final game of a West Coast trip.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with both of you guys. I definitely think that the Flyers are going to win this game. Defensively, I don't want to say they've been flawless, but they've been really good defensively in this game. Really holding Edmonton to not taking really any good quality shots. Any scrums that they've had, they've done a good job of blocking off the net and not making it easy for the Oilers to really put anything on net in those little scrums. But they got to keep up the defensive pressure. For me, best way to maintain good defensive pressure is good offensive pressure, keeping the puck in the Edmonton zone. That to me is going to be big moving forward. But I mean, we'll see what happens. As long as they maintain this defensive pressure that they've been putting on Edmonton, I think they're going to be all right.
So far, little back and forth play here. Nothing too threatening from what I've seen. Edmonton
David's chomping at the bit right here.
Bit of a rough go of it, trying to stay here. Yeah.
I love it and hate him so
much. I mean, he's definitely going to be hovering around the net now, probably a little bit more. Right.
He's 12 for 14 on faceoffs tonight.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Who is McDavid?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's so good in all facets of the game.
Ooh. Great outlet pass. Who was that? Led to a scoring opportunity. Is that Frosty, 48?
Ooh, that was a good chance. Yeah, it was Frosty.
Like that.
These two are playing really well together on this line, man. Tippett and Frost, they really play well together.
Yeah.
I gotta say, you know what I love? I love doing these shows with my back door open again. It feels so good in my apartment right now.
What's the temp there?
You don't want to know.
It's all good. We had some warm days. Dude, we had a freak thunderstorm with tornado warnings and hail, like mini golf balls today.
Oh,
crazy.
Geez.
Yeah.
Mid-70s today.
Nice.
It's supposed to be upper 70s tomorrow.
Through the afternoon.
80s on Friday.
That sounds like golfing weather.
I wish. I'm working.
And
then I have a job interview on Thursday to pick up a second job.
I got you. The Swoopy's saying he transforms every time he's on the ice.
Shapeshifter.
So apparently shapeshifter. We've discovered one.
Well, Ginger steal your soul. I wouldn't be surprised if they could shapeshift too.
Maddie, do you?
I cannot confirm nor deny this.
Wait a second. Wasn't Ryan O'Reilly? Didn't he get drafted by the Maple Leafs? I feel like that's true. Oh, look at that. I'm trying to get somebody's trying to scam me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a UPS text. I'm like, I didn't order anything.
Oh, that's not how polite. How polite.
No, he was drafted by Colorado.
Just when you thought you were feeling.
I was actually literally just looking it up. Because I hate to say it, he looks really good in a Toronto jersey.
Yeah, I think
Clearly,
what
he
do you
ain't
call it?
fucking around
O'Reilly
either.
jerseys will be a hot. O'Reilly Toronto Maple Leaf jerseys are going to be a hot seller for sure.
I think he still has term too.
Mm.
Eh,
Oh, I've
Oh,
actually
4
confused it.
And
minute.
if anything,
Double
tonight's
minor.
anything to go on, man,
Ooh.
that guy. I will
was
say
a good
though,
score.
if it's anything that's yeah, for O'Reilly, he wants another cup to add to the collection.
Let's Lixell with the high stick must have drew blood. Got double minor.
Oh boy, talk about bad timing.
Or did they call 2 penalties?
Oh man, that was a great passing play there.
Let's see what the hell it was. Yeah, hard to go pipe to pipe on that one. Some bitch.
Ooh, could you possibly call goaltender interference on Hyman there?
Good.
Oh no, Sanheim pushed him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Draisaitl gets credited with the goal there.
that was a beautiful tic-tac-toe passing play.
So 2-2.
Oh, I swear to man, my phone is listening to us all the time. All of a sudden, I brought up this one page and I see a Bally's advertisement.
They
It's
do
been
listen to you.
streaky lately, man. I blame Elon Musk.
No, they absolutely listen to you. No, Ted. He was drafted by Colorado.
Spooker's
I thought he
saying
was
that
drafted
Robbie,
by
you
Buffalo.
might jinx it.
Or Toronto.
I think I did.
He
I didn't
might.
expect whatever it was. Anybody would buy him. Was that a double minor or for high sticking, or was there 2 penalties called?
I'm looking that up right now.
It was a double minor.
It was double minor.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it said, I think, on here.
Gotcha. Well, it's a big 1 minute and 4 seconds to kill right here. You limit them to a strong offensive Edmonton team to 1 goal on a double minor. You did your job.
Mm-hmm.
Draisaitl 21 power play goals on the season.
Right.
Oh my lord!
I know. I wish I could say he was just a power play specialist,
Yeah,
but he's
just
not.
bad timing, man. Taking penalties.
Mm-hmm. Somebody lock Robbie in the bathroom. Mush. Oh, now it's gut check time. What do you got left in the tank? 12:05 left to go on a long trip.
Mm-hmm.
Back-to-back games.
In a game that, in my opinion, right now is must win.
I will say Hart lucked out a little bit there. He was way too deep in the net. Puck skipped over the Oilers' forward stick.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
It
good
made
save.
up for it there.
Oh, that stung Sealer.
Uh-huh.
35 seconds left on the power play here. Good save.
The glove save post to post.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All McDavid.
Nice and square to McDavid. Came out and challenged him too.
It's like he heard me when I said you're too deep in net.
That's what he was saying. I hate.
I hate power play.
St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was average 5-on-5. He's gotten better in St. Louis, but he's still. Ooh, that's offsides. That's major offsides. Lawton getting tied up with looks like Bouchard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he got better 5-on-5 when he went to St. Louis. I think he just liked Berube's system a little bit better. Bought in. But yeah, he's still a power play specialist. He still gets most of his scoring opportunities on the power play.
Ted, would be NBCS Philadelphia. That would be the channel the Flyers right now.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to stream it. I got to stream it, though. Although if you have Hulu, that probably doesn't hurt.
I've been hearing YouTube TV is the way to go over Hulu.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
For what? Just sports or overall?
Just general, if you want to stream, you want to get away from cable, YouTube TV. It's the way to go in terms of accessibilities for games. I mean, I guess granted, like, you know, you'd still maybe have to get that ESPN Plus subscription, but
And that's what I use. I have no complaints about the ESPN Plus app.
right.
I've had no issues, really.
Oh, gorgeous play. Wade Allison is a wild man. Yeah.
This team.
Oh! Skinner just absolutely robbed Tippett.
Yep.
Should have been goal number 17 there. Leon Draisaitl, Ted, he tied the game.
Boots.
Is that where Dennis Shore wound up? He wound up in Edmonton? I remember he was in Anaheim.
Oh.
Defense is still doing a good job at locking down some of these players,
Yep.
getting in the lanes, boxing them out. Although that 4-minute power play really helped Edmonton catch up on shots.
Yeah, only 2 behind now, and they got to clear this zone here. Getting trapped. Had guys out there for a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Nice, Frosty. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Kate.
He's such a blue collar player. I love Noah Cates so much. He's really
Yeah.
living up. He's really becoming one of my favorite players to watch right now. Yeah, my niece is in love with Wade Allison, by the way. So last time I was up there a couple weeks ago.
Hey,
We wound up going to the Flyers game against who did they play? Who did they play? Winnipeg.
Oof.
They lost. Yeah, they wound up losing that one. But she put her hand on the glass, so we went down to the glass to watch the Flyers warm up, and she just put her hand in the glass. 2 seconds later, Wade Allison just comes skating up, and he was trying to get her the puck, but he's like, I don't know how I'm going to get you this puck. Because we were actually in the end zone, so we were sitting right behind the goaltender.
Icing.
His interaction with her was great. Like I'm like, I like you even more than I already do. You're a dog, but you're here for the kids. Like that's all. I thought it was awesome.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. What it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Because he was going to toss it over, and then he's like, wait, the netting's there.
Yeah, that's what I hear, though. I hear all the girls like Wade Allison and Alec Boehm.
Well, the only reason why she likes Wade Allison is because he interacted with her.
That's unfortunate. Deflection goal. McDavid just centering the goal. The defender goes down, goes off his skate blade past Hart. Robbie jinxed it. All right, I'm going to the bathroom.
Okay.
Anaheim?
Technically, it wasn't me. Blame NBC Sports Philadelphia for putting up that stat of 16-0-1 after 2 periods.
To be fair, there's still plenty of time left, Robbie.
Truth. Who was that went down? Sanheim. But I mean, you can't blame him there. Actually, that might even hit more off of the inside padding of Hart and deflected in. 43rd
Yeah, I don't know
goal.
if Sanheim touched that. Oh
Yeah, he
no,
might not have.
he hit it. It hit the base of the boot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just saw the goal. Yeah.
it was an unfortunate bounce.
That was Connor McDavid's 43rd goal, but it was his first goal in the last 5 games. Having a mini slump there. That's crazy. Wow.
That is crazy.
Sorry, you just hurt my brain. It's
And
his
not in there for
43rd
5
goal
games. That's crazy.
Right.
and his first goal in 5 games.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts my brain to think about.
Yeah.
Well, he's got, what, like 115 points already? He's probably got more than that. I'm looking that up.
Nice.
102. Well,
Okay.
now 103. Yeah, he'll be back to play Anaheim.
You'll
That'll
say
be
that about
fun.
Ovechkin when he returns.
Yeah, he'll be back to play Anaheim. Didn't have one, Ted.
Yeah, Gritty's a first of his kind. Except some people say he's a rendition of the Philly Fanatic.
He kind of is. And he's, you know how some people say Kate Smith taking her statue away jinxes this organization? I think bringing in Gritty jinxes this organization.
Oh.
Fuck Gritty.
It might have. I was at the preseason game against Boston Bruins that they debuted Gritty in, and I immediately turned to my dad and said, "This isn't going to work. This mascot's going to scare kids and give them nightmares." But he's been lovable, but the organization might have been cursed. You're right.
It's all his fault. It's always been Gritty's fault. It hasn't been anything to do with Paul Holmgren and that.
I mean, think about it. When did the troubles for this team really start? Back when Gritty showed up.
It started well before that.
Swoopy, you don't know me at all.
Brian,
She's not my girl. I mean, Ashlyn is attractive, but she's not my girl. I'm a Taryn Hatcher guy. I like Ashlyn. She does a good job. I think she's attractive. I think she's a good reporter. I think she does a great job with the pre-post game and intermission reports. But I'm still a Taryn Hatcher guy.
Swoopy said, although Swoopy did say, you said you had a crush on Ashley. Don't even try.
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying I'm a Taryn Hatcher guy. I'd rather have Taryn. She's good, though. She's eye
I would
candy.
agree with you,
Absolutely. Y'all can't let me have my fun. I swear.
Well, you know.
He said, well, you know. Oh, thanks, Matt.
I mean, come on. Gotta take the piss out of something in a blocking game.
Ugh. Whatever.
Ryan said. Swoopy did say Taryn all day, of course. She's a little.
Was it Ashland local too? I think that's part of
Maybe,
the
I
reason
have
why they
no
even
idea.
hired her is because she was local. I know she was working in Florida for the Jaguars, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's not local. I know Taryn is. Taryn's from Central Jersey, I think she said she was from. Then she worked in Hawaii for a bit before coming back. Literally just said that, Swoopy. Pretty much verbatim, too.
So we're at 5. I'm at 5 minutes. What time you got left there, Bri?
I got 22.
All right, then. Yeah, so I'm pretty decent back behind you on that one.
Big 3-on-1, big
That's
3-on-1. Bouchard whiffs on the shot.
That's it. Bring back Molly French.
I forgot about Molly French. Wow.
Bring
I
back
wouldn't even be
Katie
a
Emmer.
I mean, yes. I said, She's killing it in Minnesota. I'm just saying.
You didn't.
That's where she's from, I believe.
It's Katie Storm, by the way. She got married.
Did she?
Yeah, she's not Emma anymore. She's Katie Storm.
Damn, that's such a great name, though.
Isn't it? That's a
Yeah.
badass reporter name.
Oh yeah.
It'd be even better if she was a weather girl.
Shame her name's not Sue.
You see,
Huh.
I like the Fantastic Four. Those movies, all three of them, were trash.
Yeah.
But I will still take every day the one with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba over the new one.
Oh yeah.
New one. That one was just straight trash.
Didn't see it.
Colleen Wolfe, is she the one that does the NFL Game Day or whatever it is on NFL Network?
Yeah, she's from Philly.
Yeah, I like her too.
Yeah, about 4 minutes left. The Toyota Rav. 4 minutes to play. Let's see if the Flyers can tie this up. See what they got. Gut check time.
Yep, they had a little bit of good pressure there before he came back here, Robbie. A couple good shots. Nothing really dangerous.
Ooh.
Just got to maintain the pressure here.
By the way, they said that Connor McDavid is the 5th in NHL history.
Say that again, Maddie.
Big 5th player to reach 800 points in NHL history.
5th player, huh? I wonder if he's fastest to do it.
Wait, who was McDavid?
They said he was.
Yeah.
The 5th fastest player to hit 800 points?
Yeah.
No, they just said, yeah.
Oh,
I did say 5th fastest. Okay. Ooh. What do we got
Flyers
here?
going on the power play? For delay of the game?
I think they're claiming. Oh.
We'll find out.
I think they're talking about. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Maybe they are claiming for delay a game. I think at the very least they're saying it hit safety netting.
Well, it's not that often you see multiple players on the team put their hand up
Right.
And that's kind of why I'm thinking it might actually be delay a game. They could get a late power play here that could really, really, really help.
Yeah. Make it a 6-on-4.
Swoopy, what are you tagging me in?
He
Oh, I have no idea who Scott Hartnell dated. I think whoever he dated, he wound up marrying. No idea who it was.
Anthony goes, yeah, Flyers want delay of game, but not sure if any refs saw it.
Yeah, I'm waiting on it. See if they can find a replay on it.
Lisa Vernecki? Is that her name? It's his ex-wife.
Flyers did get the power play. Empty net,
Okay.
6-on-4.
Here we go.
And an empty netter.
Well,
Hurrah.
chance. Okay. Well, whatever I was about to say, fuck that. Is that, yeah. All right.
That puck looked like it was going wide, and it just took like a little
Nice.
hop and skip off the ice. McDavid, man, got using that all-star skills competition right there to score that empty net.
Yeah, the important thing to do there is not put too much pressure on it. Just flip it down.
Yeah.
Let it roll.
Well, it's good they're not rolling over. They pulled hard again here, down 2:11 to go.
Still on the power play. Don, we can't kick out the OG.
Yeah, Larry saying it was a dumb move to pull him. At least early, they did.
Yeah, I mean, pulling a goalie at any point is a double-edged sword. You're always taking that risk. With them being on the power play, I actually kind of liked it because it gives them a 6-on-4. So it gives them a 2-man advantage for the power play, which at the time could have been very beneficial. But now after that empty netter, it is what it is. Shoot it! Oh, Tony. Where is it? Well, Swoopy, it's any team's down 1 or 2 goals, they always pull the goalie at like the 3-minute mark. It's just the thing now. Usually it's like a minute and a half, but it depends on how far you're down.
Don trade hard made the in the empty net.
Yeah, it's funny. I put myself in timeout, y'all.
With the bag over the head and everything.
I was gonna say that wasn't the logo you had on there earlier, was it?
No.
Oh, Sheena Parveen. Oh,
Oh, sir.
you got her.
Oh.
I remember Sheena Parveen.
Well, when you're a athlete, you get to have these kind of things.
I'm an athlete in my mind. I train like an athlete.
Well deserved. Screw you, Dot.
Oh, D money. Fuck you, Draisaitl. You're the reason why they lost. 16-1 and something when leading after 2 periods.
Yep.
Ooh, it's getting chilly in my apartment.
Oh, well, there's a first time for everything.
I still
Ted
say
saying,
Jim
"What do you
Jackson
guys
said the
think
stat.
we'd get first?" Oh.
Yeah, let's blame Jim Jackson. I'm all for that.
So
He said the stat first before me. That's right.
Yeah.
all right.
I'm back.
Well, the
Yeah,
Oilers
go
with
for
the
it, man.
win. Hopefully, nobody puts one.
I mean,
So in the end,
the Flyers might be able to pull something in for. I mean, they have 3 goalies up, so you would assume this is for a design to trade one of them before the deadline. And despite some conjecture on the show, I don't believe that goaltender is going to be Hart traded. So, Harrison would kind of get you more of a return. Thank you, Dot. But me personally, I think Sandstrom is the one that goes.
I could see that. Go with us fault.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Brian's apartment.
I'm not sure what that means. I'm confused.
While you think about that, I will transition us over to OT.
Oh,
So
my brain
as
hurts.
we head on through the end of the netter, the Edmonton Oilers have defeated the Philadelphia Flyers in Edmonton. No hero. They had that shootout win. But we head on over to the shootout ourselves, and that is brought to you by Alonzi Travel. You know how life can suck every now and again? It just beats the piss out of you. Job is not going well. Boss is on your ass, even though you didn't do anything wrong. Or you got stuff going on in life, family stuff, or your girl's just annoying the hell out of you or whatnot. Sometimes you need to just get away from it all. Just, you know what? I need to go to a place that is my happy place. Well, the thing is, it can be a little early, let alone saying you're going to go on one with everything else going on around you. And in mind, all you got to do is go to Alonzi Travel. They have specialists in creating the vacation, or wherever your heart calls to, and let their talented team of travel experts create custom for you. So that way, you don't have to stress about that. You don't have to stress about planning. You don't have to stress about any of that. Let them take care of those little details for you. All you got to do is count the days off until you've gotten away from all the BS, all the stresses, and you hop on that plane and you head on to your happy place, to wherever that destination may be. All right, then. Time for the shootout. And we will start off with Timo Meier. Where does he end up? So, gents, what are we thinking?
Well, there's a lot of speculation of him winding up in one of 2 places, and that's Carolina or the Devils. Problem is, you bring in Timo Meier, you're going to need to want to resign him. I think Devils make the perfect sense for Timo Meier. I think Carolina is going to be on somebody else that I'm going to remain nameless for now. But I think the Devils make the most sense. They're still a young team. They could use some veteran leadership on the front side. Defensively, I think they've been pretty good all year. I think offensively, they've been pretty good all year. You're not going to have to give up. You're going to have to give up at least a first-round pick and an NHL-ready prospect. I think they have the prospects to spare to bring in a guy like Timo Meier and still be able to have the cap space to sign him to a long-term deal. So, for me, the Devils make the most sense.
Right on.
Robbie, how you feeling?
How am I feel? Well, first of all, I did hear a little rumor that it's always hot in Brian's apartment because he rocks out the Sex Panther. 60% of the time, it works every time. You know what I mean?
Homie, I wish.
We have to talk after the show. All right. I had the Devils too, Brian. I think that's the most likely destination if Timo is dealt before the deadline. But I'm going to throw out a dark horse, and this is only if the Sharks are willing to trade in division. Since they're doing so well, and Kraken has a little money to spare, Seattle Kraken. How's that cracking on you?
Ooh, that's a good dark horse.
So, yeah, that's an interesting idea. I mean, I don't really think the Sharks would care. I mean, because it's not exactly like they're pretty much looking to trade off assets and rebuild. So, as long as they get what they want in return. So, yeah, not a bad option. As for me, I'm going to say Timo Meier. Put him off to, I have this horrible gut-wrenching feeling it's going to be the Devils. I don't want it to be. I fucking hate that fucking team, but I think it's going to be them. We were going to get them. It's like, great, now I got to hate Timo Meier. I really didn't want to either.
Yeah, going from one of your teams to the enemy, Timo Meier just sounds like a devil name.
Right up there with. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Right up there with Patrick Elias, and a similar kind of player too. Oh man. So let's see here. That's Timo Meier. I got him going to. I have him going to the Devils. Rob pulling out the dark horse with this Kraken on that one. Okay,
I think it's still the Devils.
We'll save Kane for last. Let's go to.
I think it's still the Devils, but I'm just saying Kraken's a dark horse. But go ahead.
Okay, we'll save Kane for last. Let's go to Chychrun.
Like it.
Robbie, go first.
Okay. I talked about a theoretical landing spot of Columbus Blue Jackets earlier in the show, but here's where I think he really goes. Minnesota Wild, they really need scoring 5-on-5 and on the power play from the blue line, and we know Chychrun can quarterback a power play. I think it's a really good fit.
That's a good one. I actually kind of like Minnesota. But I don't see him going there.
Mm-hmm.
If things go well, I still think Chychrun winds up in LA. I don't think that deal's completely dead. I don't think any offers off the table. I just don't think I think they're going to continue to work to get a deal done because I think LA has a need for a young defenseman. Doughty can't do it forever. And Mike Anderson just signed an 8-year extension that was actually really cheap for an 8-year deal. I think it wound up being like 8 years, $50 million or something like that. It's really fucking cheap for a top pairing defenseman. But, I think Chychrun would be a really good fit if they can figure out what prospects they're going to send back to Arizona. Obviously, they're going to probably have to give up the first, probably this year, next year, and probably an NHL-ready prospect. Obviously, we talked about it earlier. Not Brant Clark, not Quentin Byfield, but there are still other young prospects in that LA organization that could probably get the deal done. But it's definitely going to have to at least involve the 2023 and the 2024 first-round picks for Arizona to send Chychrun their way.
I think, you know what, I'm going to say, this might be a little crazy, but I think maybe Ottawa might try to get in on that. I know Ottawa obviously didn't do really good this year, but I think Ottawa would probably want to try and fix whatever hell went wrong this year. I feel like they might want to go with Chychrun to solve that problem.
How to build for years to come. I could see that point, Maddie, and they have been talking where they have money to spend and just try to save face for the organization, but they've been playing well lately. I'm gonna get into a player that's been causing that in my hot take, but they're actually ahead of the Flyers in the standings now. And if people were considering the Flyers still in it, does that mean the Senators are now in it?
I don't necessarily think the Senators have ever really been out of it.
Okay.
I mean, they're playing much better hockey now than they were in the beginning of the year, but you got to remember all the big moves that they made. They had they brought in Giroux. They got Alex DeBrincat over the draft. So you brought in some new players, new faces, give them some time to gel, and now you're starting to see that, and Ottawa's starting to put some stuff together. But it's really funny because I know we had talked about Erik Karlsson to Edmonton almost – I don't want to say being a done deal, but I could see Erik Karlsson going back to Ottawa.
Wow. Okay.
I could see him going back to the old stopping grounds. They got a very young defensive core there. Thomas Chabot is, to me, he's a really good defenseman.
Sure.
Artem Zub is another really good young defenseman. Like, their defense core is really young. They could use a guy of Erik Karlsson's leadership ability on that back end to really take these guys to the next level. And I think that's kind of one of the things that they definitely need to add going forward. Don't be surprised if you can see an Ottawa Senators team in on a guy like a Jacob Chychrun as a dark horse out of nowhere kind of team. Because, again, similar to LA, Ottawa has prospects that they can give up. Jake Sanderson is another one who having kind of I don't want to say he's been underwhelming, but I don't think he's been living up to the potential of what he was drafted as, being, I believe, the first defenseman taken over Jamie Drysdale in that draft. But don't be surprised if you see Ottawa in on Chychrun and Karlsson to at the trade deadline to try and improve and make a final playoff push, because they're not out of it by any means.
All right. So with that, that takes care of Chychrun. I had him in Ottawa. Rob, you had him where again?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, that's right. Bri, where were you having Chychrun land?
Chychrun, LA.
LA. All right then. So moving forward, we now go to the big one, the big name showpiece that everybody's been taking a look at, checking their wallets, see if they could afford it. That is Patrick Kane. So the former 3-time Cup champ on the market. Gentlemen, where do you think Kaner winds up? Where do you think Showtime's next big main event is going to be at? Where do you think it is?
I want to go last.
Okay, I'll go first.
All right.
Patrick Kane goes to Carolina. I agree with Larry. I think it's a move that makes sense. They are not quite – I think they're just a piece away. I think Patrick Kane can be that piece. He's a guy that can score. He's a guy that we know that can, make that big play ability. and matching him with a guy like Andrei Svechnikov and putting him on a line with Sebastian Aho, oh my God, the city would erupt. The city of Raleigh would just absolutely erupt if they got a guy like Patrick Kane, because I think Patrick Kane takes him to the next level. I really think he does. Now, he'd obviously have to agree to that trade. I know he said he wanted to be in the Leafs or the Rangers, and he's already said no to the Islanders. But I think that's a trade that could really make sense for Carolina right now, who's trying to win right now. But the downside for Carolina trading for Patrick Kane, they're going to have to give up youth. And youth is really what's driving this team right now. And they really don't have any draft picks. You know, there's a report out there that they're willing to trade their first-round pick this year for a player of term. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I think Carolina could be a really good fit for Patrick Kane, and I think he would really enjoy playing for Rob Brindamore.
All right, then. So next up, me, Don saying hot take: Wings catch the Panthers in the wild card. And no, I'm sure we'll go with that then. Will's also saying, "What's up, boys?"
What's up, Wills?
What's up, Willie?
How's life treating you, brother?
Hopefully well. Don then saying Patrick Kane stays in Chicago.
There's a lot of conjecture that both him and Taze stay put.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Ted saying, didn't Sens just trade one of their players last week?
Yep. It wasn't even last week. It was a couple days ago.
They did.
It wasn't
Who'd they trade?
It was Victor Modi. They got Julien Gauthier and a pick in return.
Oh.
Yeah, it seemed like a lateral move just to fill two needs.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Patrick, another one that might be a little crazy here. This would take and it required to move some young players. However, I don't roll because it would definitely boost up their offense. Dallas.
That'd be interesting.
It would require
really
some. It would require some magic. I mean, you have to take a real hard look at your roster and see, okay, what players can we get rid of, and Kane going to the top. They feel strong enough, and is the guy in the playoffs that's going to get them out of the first round and back into the Stanley Cup Finals that they haven't been to since 2020. Maybe they pull that trigger on that.
I could see it. I could definitely see it. I mean, I still think the Stars are one of the front runners to land them. But, you know, like you brought up their salary cap essentially, and that's kind of my only concern. Carolina's in the same position, but I feel like Carolina has a little bit more leverage than Dallas did.
But to your point, Brian, or to the point that you guys were making in the chat earlier today, Chicago might be looking to retain that salary to hit the cap floor, and he could go literally anywhere.
Yeah, and they would have to. They would have to at least retain half of it.
So that could be how a deal does get done to a team like Dallas.
Okay, and Carolina situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Feels a little bit more possible. Possibility is very much open with that. All right, Robbie. We saved you for last, my man. Shoot.
Well, here's a team that could afford him if Chicago's not looking to take on or to keep Kane on the books. Because this team I looked up today has $8.7 million in cap space due to putting a certain player on long-term IR, and they will need to replace that player's production.
Patrick Kane, welcome to Las Vegas.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Bring Showtime to Vegas, to the Strip.
And you know what? That is such a them move. Right. That's such a Vegas move to make as well. It really does scream Vegas. It really.
I like it though because yeah, it's a big flashy splash for them, but you lose Mark Stone, and you need to replace that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's a huge loss.
The
You
leadership.
bring in a guy like Patrick Kane, yeah, the leadership, the experience that he brings in, and then he doesn't have to re-sign with Vegas at the end of the year. He could just walk.
Right.
So even if Chicago manages to retain half of the contract, which I think they're going to, that still gives Vegas a little room to play at the trade deadline too to bring something else in. Ew, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a goaltender.
But
Although
you know what the
Logan
thing
Thompson's
is?
been very, very good this year.
Yes.
The thing is, though, is that it makes sense because Vegas has been all in on trying to get a cup. They know it's now or never because they've been trying to get it for the last 3 years and and it's tough when you get to that one round away and you keep getting eliminated.
They've been progressing since the Stanley Cup final in 2018. Regressing.
I got you.
Y'all knew what I meant. Shut up.
I did.
I'm in the playoffs. I know. For last year, first time ever in franchise history. So there you go. Nice little slice of reality of what it's like to fuck up late in the year. But anyway, all right then. So that takes care of the players, and now we is bad, gentlemen. Who wants to go?
I'm curious
I'll
about
start
his
it.
hot pick.
Yeah, I'll start it off, man. It has to do with number one star of last week and a player that I think has finally arrived, and that's Tim Stützle. And I think that's been responsible for also the Senators getting back into the playoff chase. He's got a 4-game point streak right now. And, you know, I was reading an article that was interviewing him. He's like, he just found that confidence. The switch went on. And we're about to see the next great player in the NHL in Tim Stützle. He's finally arrived.
Good. We've been waiting.
Nice. Well, he was highly touted when they got him, so it makes sense.
Last week, he had 4 goals, 10 points, 2 game-winning goals.
All right then.
It's impressive.
That's pretty damn good.
All right, so I'll go next. I'm going to build off of what Rob said because he kind of swayed me on my hot take of the week. Initially I was going to agree with Priz and say that. Actually, you know what? No, fuck it. I'm going to go original. It's a 2-parter. One part, my hot take is the Red Wings will make the playoffs. They are only 2 points out, I believe. Yeah. So 2 points out of the second wild card spot, 3 points out of the first. And hell, they're not getting a division spot, not in the Atlantic. And they get a deal done with Dylan Larkin before the end of the season. No, you know what? I'm going to extend that a little bit. The deal gets done with Dylan Larkin and the Detroit Red Wings, and they're going to have it done before the draft.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
They're not far off.
Right.
They're not far off. It can get done. It will get done. especially if Detroit wants to be a playoff team and a contender.
I'm not saying he didn't
They
like
lose
your
him,
hot
it takes
take,
steps
Bo,
backwards.
but he did like the
My guy, Don Don, you're my guy.
and then he also. All right, so my hot take of the week. 3 weeks now, I just have this horrible, painful, dreadful feeling that when the playoffs roll, the Suns are going to go on a run, and I'm going to fucking hate every second of it. The Devils are going to go to the third round of the Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to fucking happen. I hate it. I hate it. They're going to beat the Rangers in the first round. Brad's going to be pissed off at them more than usual. Then they're going to go on to the next round, I guess. Then they're going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. And who knows what the fuck. Of course the pricks had to go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Thank you so much. I hate you, NHL. I fucking hate you. Why did you have to bring this shitty fucking crap nation into this fucking you blighted this fucking franchise. You gave us a black eye by making a fucking thing. Fuck you, NHL, for allowing them to exist. Should have fucking gotten rid of them the first chance you got. Ugh. Anyway.
In the NHL, so wow, that's weird to say.
Yeah.
The Devils, the New Jersey Devils, are the third best team in the NHL. Think about that for a second. As strenuous and as stressful as I'm sure that rebuild was for the Devils fans, they're reaping the benefits of it right now. Nico Hersher, Jack Hughes, who's still hurt, I believe, questioning Mackenzie Blackwood. He's playing solid. Vanacek is playing, I think, better. But, it doesn't matter because the defense has been amazing. Now, here's my question to you guys. With Damon Severson being a UFA at the end of the year and the Devils being in the position that they're in while we're talking trade talk here real quick before we wrap it up and get out of here, does Damon Severson get traded?
I say yes.
I say no.
Yeah.
Nope.
I say he sticks around. Now, granted, does he sign a contract after this year? Well, I think that's going to be a no. But I think he stays with the Devils for the remainder of the year to see where this playoff push goes. Where do you think he's going, Robbie?
I don't know. I just see a motivation to deal. I see it from their side.
Okay. I mean, it would make sense if it did happen, but I don't know. For me, with the position they're in, I just don't think it makes sense to trade him.
No?
No.
Do you think Severson gets involved in a Timo Meier trade?
I feel like that would be a piece that would have to be in the return. But I don't know if they want, because I believe Damon Severson is 27. As good of a piece as he is.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're.
I think they would want younger.
He's a little bit. He's too north 25, I think, for the liking for the Sharks right now.
But I think he could wind up being a piece to build around for. I'm going to be honest with you, and I just thought about this. I think maybe Jasper Bratt goes in the other way in the Timo Meier trade. Jasper Bratt's 24 years old. He's starting to come into his own.
I can see that.
A good piece for San Jose to build around.
Right. No, I can see
that.
that.
I could absolutely see that.
I just see like a player that doesn't fit the position. It's not working. They healthy scratched him the other night. So I was talking about from their standpoint of including him on a deal, possibly, to San Jose in exchange for Timo Meyer, or possibly even a team like the Dallas Stars, which we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
True.
we're gonna pull up
True. That's an
Severson
open
real quick.
possibility. Is there?
So Severson's 28, and he's only got 18 points in 55 games, which is kind of a low stat for him. Actually, he's having a career year. Look at that. How about that? No, he's not. Never mind. I lied. 18 points in 56 games this year. Could you possibly move him? Yeah. Sorry, I misread. I was looking at the year before, where he had his career year, 46 points last year.
Okay.
But still, I see him just staying put for now because I don't know if the Devils have anybody to replace him with in the system yet. Jesper Bratt, you can move Jesper Bratt easily and get Timo Meyer in return, and that gives San Jose something to work with almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
True. The age too,
Right,
like
Don.
you said, point. The age are definitely since San Jose is going full force into a rebuild. Don, you take it easy, brother. All right, then. I think that's a good time for us to wrap this sucker up. We thank everybody for joining us, the fam out there, all the regulars, all the newcomers. We had a few of them, actually. Had some new Oilers fans joining the party. It's always nice to see. So, thank you. And let me just take a quick trusty calendar. We do not have a game next week to live react to. So, okay, interesting. So, for you guys, and yeah, we'll do what we always do. We'll talk some puck as we always love here on ATV. All right, then, guys. So, thank you for joining us for another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. I am Matt Sansuni, along with the Dark Wing, Brian Daly, and Rob Povia.
Good night, fam.
And you guys have yourself a pleasant evening. One last thing to talk about is our show sponsor, Specialized. And if you have any aches and pains, make an appointment with the doc. Specialized Physical Therapy. Until next time, guys, we'll see you next week. Peace and love, everyone.